I'm glad I got that recorded though.
Oh, fuck.
I've got. If Dad can't fix it, it's fucked. Which is weird because I don't have kids. How we doing?
Hey!
Everyone having fun tonight?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm alright.
Hey P, have you got a brighter light bulb? P for halt.
No.
My phonetic alphabet is shit.
Oh, yeah.
Aye,
Oh,
aye,
hey,
aye.
man.
He's on the port. Pint of port. 1700 halt. And then
Yar.
Ivan's gone darker blue. So he turned the light off to get into the mood. Bow chicka wow wow.
Yeah.
So why haven't you got a brighter bulb? Ah, you know what it is?
Looking to get one?
I bet it's the blurring. I bet that's what darkens it a bit.
That last time?
What, mine?
No, his.
Yeah, it's blurring.
Yeah, you definitely brighten up a bit. We can see
But it's also because he's got a peak on his cap and it's obscuring his face.
Nah. Everyone.
The light's straight above him.
No.
You know what you need, mate? Is a lamp. They're like $4.99 from Argos.
Yeah. Actually, there might be one on Amazon. Let us check.
Have a check next to delivery.
Mm.
We do lamps and immortals. Why don't we just smuggle the tyrant in? In a van?
We've just got a purchase on a crown making of tyrants.
Oh,
And
that's a good point, yeah. The Nemesis crown. Well,
Yeah.
last week. What happened last week? Well, I think the best way to sum it up would be, in the last episode, we had Arnung fluffing his way through what happened the night before.
What? Hey, wait, what?
To the point that when Renyir kept on saying things that Arnung didn't want to talk to, he got thrown out. You then had a good forewarning that
Saying things which were
there were-
incorrect.
that there were some knights heading in your direction, or at least priests. You made a scarper out the back door. Two of these priests saw Arnung, Leaf, and Framling. You headed down the left and lost them, diving your way through the Westgate Sudgarden district into the Southgate Ostwald district, where you took refuge underneath one of the safe houses that Leaf has access to.
The drowned rat.
The Drowned Rat, a high-level establishment.
Dead rat.
Oh shit! I've just pressed the wrong button. Crap! Oh well. Where unfortunately you.
Broke it.
Yeah, did you hear that? Did that come through?
No.
No.
Well, that's just rubbish, isn't it?
Whoa.
Oh, that.
Oh, that.
So you had all kinds of things happening to you inside the sewers, inside the safe house, inside the Leaf, and you went to a secondary fallback point, which was the Dragon's Ale's Brewers, where you got a wash. You all dressed up in pretty much the most bland clothing possible. Basic off-white, much used shirts, heavily marked up leather waistcoats, breeches, scuffed shoes with tarnished buckles, that sort of thing. Because basically everything that was in these places, in these houses, was is designed to allow people to move freely. So as a result, Framling is out of his beast furs, but Arnung is also out of his three-piece suit. Renyir has upgraded his clothing, and Leaf is pretty much just swapped into another set of clothes. Unfortunately, the dark creature, this laughter, this thing tracked you to that point, and stepped in, made a physical manifestation. Leaf waited for you outside as you made a tactical withdrawal. And then you ended up at the pawnbrokers. Basically on the close to the southern gate, Fanles.
Where's a lovely
pawnbrokers.
map gone?
You don't deserve it this week.
Is that because the immortal isn't here?
No, because he's taking away with him.
Yeah, he's off.
My
My map.
The only copy of the map.
Going home. Oh, as a matter of interest, lads, having reviewed last week's episode, I did discover that nobody could see the mouse moving on the screen.
Yeah,
So
okay.
when we were going, go left here, go right there, it doesn't actually show up on the recording.
Oh, not on the recording. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that sucks. That
Go
sucks
left
balls.
Go left way.
Yeah, what are they talking about? So if anybody watching, if you look towards the bottom of the picture, you will see the western gate over this direction here. Yep. Yeah. Oh, his fingers. And basically you're talking by the first block on the left. That's where you guys are hiding out, this pawnbroker. So the pawnbrokers is very typical of the area. It's a run-down shack with a heavy reinforced front and back door. The lower entrance is dominated by a shop front with stuff that pawnbrokers have, rings, jewellery, gold, pistols, swords, things that have been brought in, things of value, pseudo value, that sort of thing. Through a curtain you go into a kitchen, an old heavy table in the centre of the room with the tabletop, the kitchen counter as it were, in the left corner by one window. You've got a fire on the right hand side, fireplace that leads up into obviously the flue will go up into the next floor. You have a single door with heavy bars and a very tight staircase to the left of said curtain with a table to the right. This tight staircase is one of those real shanty periodic sort of effects. Wooden floors, thin corridor, leads up into the left. Leaf knows what it's like upstairs, you guys don't. You decided that having spoken at length to Framling about the information that you discovered, which was that Blane Burroughs would effectively appear to be a brotherhood of the Stag, the secret organisation founded by the founding father Ulmacor 1100 years ago. Two members of which are Arnung and Leaf. Different chapters. Arnung is one of the Brotherhood a member of the Stag in Nordland, and Leaf is a member of the Stag in Grimmenhagen. Different chapters, little communication between the two. Framling is immortal. The immortal Framling has taught, and he has come back to the Empire at a time of need, and you have ended up in Middenheim looking into potential void worshippers, people that worship the creatures of the dark, of the Netherrealm, the realm between Mor's realm and the mortal realm, commonly known as demons and monsters. He is not interested at all in the going-ons of man. Civil wars, man will always fight wars over land and territory. This is not his problem. As long as the Empire exists, he will stand by to a certain degree. But if there is void worshipping, that sort of thing. Now, not particularly witches. Witches are obviously mixed. At this time frame, this time period, anyone that is able to do things that are not normal is considered to be a witch. And yes, there is a lot of misuse of said power, and generally mankind will deal with it. Sometimes Framling will have to step in. But he would be considered a witch, as he is capable of being a demigod, a son of Tal and the Ancient Widow. However, Blane Burroughs was also considered to be a follower of Tal as well, a Talite. Ultimately, Dawn Aru is due within a few days, the end of the week. This is, you're in Montag, Monday, and you've been told you'll be here at the end of the week by the priest of Sigma, the High Capitula. Not capitulator. He rose
What's
to
his
power
name?
by admitting to everything. His name is Werner Stolz.
What?
Werner
Werner
Stolz.
Skulls.
Skull.
Yes.
It
Whirly
sounds like
skull?
skulls.
It
Skull.
doesn't. It doesn't. It's even written down in your notes.
It's not. It's lies.
It really isn't. No? Lost? Anyway, so the High Priest, the High Capitulator, has decided that he is willing to, or was willing to give you some information for the sake of a unforeseen or an unexpected at this point favour, which you agreed to. He is the High Capitulator. He is the highest level of the Sigmarite Church in Midland and Nordland, and obviously a political man, but also a veteran, having fought in wars above and beyond the Skaven Wars and the any other wars that you guys have been in. You know, this guy didn't stop, but eventually he's retired to become the High Priest in Midland, and he has gained a good footing here. He has a good reputation in what is effectively the strong point, both Midland and Oldland, of Ulrich. So he's a powerful man, but you had information that led you to believe that he was passing information, being at a very high level, being the highest level. Courtesans, people of the palace, generals, people of high rank, even though everyone here is apparently an Ulrican, they were using the High Sigmarite priest as a confessor. And he was passing this information to, or is passing this information to Herr Goebbels. With this information in hand, and also the fact that he knows of you, Arnung, and specifically, you're a very good friend to have. Now, I know you went into this saying to yourself, he could be a good contact, an ally. You walked away feeling that, in fact, he gained a good contact and ally. So yeah, you know, it kind of give proof to the, you know, this guy. Ow! I've just been bitten by something. It had too many teeth, and it was under the table.
It's the tank.
It is. I've just seen it. I've shown its talon. Yeah, it is the tank. So yeah. Anyway, all said and done, you then investigated the priests of Moor, Albrecht Zimmermann, not Albert Cinnabon. You investigated him because you were told that, according to a particular confession, days prior he had started visiting Blane Burroughs. This goes against the norm for priests of Moor, who do not care for the living. They care very little for man's crimes. They believe that it's about the body, it's about the physical corpse. Last rites they must be given so that it may enter the realm of Moor, and that goes from the highest of you know, the most pious to murderers and even chaos worshippers. You know, these void worshippers. Sorry, they are basically, everyone must must go through the gates of Moor and face their god's decisions. Blane Burroughs apparently is still alive. Why the High Priest of Moor was going to visit him was of some interest. So you went in there with a story that you wanted to bury a body, and then discovered they already had it. You left, and the next morning were chased through the city streets by them. You believe that the priests of Moor themselves, obviously Albrecht Zimmermann is an old man, 60s, 70s, frail, bent. However, the acolytes that worked in the church itself were rather robust-looking fellas. Didn't seem to come across as the priesty like.
Full-on protein shake.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, unlike the priests of Sigma, who are you know, quite dominant, and the Ulrican priests, of course, dominated by war. Moor is not known for that. They do have a military branch, but these are guys in black armor that turn up on battlefields and, you know, protect their high priests. In the average temple, the average church, these are just normal guys just going about their business, tending to the gardens, the dead, and ceremonies. So they definitely stuck out. And now that they chased you through the street with swords, it kind of really reinforced that. So with you being at the pawnbrokers as one of the last places, well, not the last, but it's one of the safe houses of Leaf, having been in two of them. Joseph Vandelier is the proprietor. He's out front. And then Framling has basically said, right, I need to go meditate again. I need to think about this. I need to work out what's going on. You've given us a lot of information. I can't really utilize my powers because it seems to bring this creature, and it might be that we're linked to the sewers, that we're linked to the underground, but we are going to raid the temple, the barracks. That is his decision. With that in mind, you are now tasked with finding multiple options here. Find out as much as you can about the place, but ultimately you've got free reign. Whether it's try not to get killed by the priests of Moor, but that's an option. Find out who supplies the food. Even though you're going to go into the sewers, it's worth finding out who supplies the food, who walks in through the front door. You've dismissed the idea of using it, but it's worth finding out how it's done in case it becomes of importance now, because at some point during the night you will be expected to prepare yourselves to go in through the sewers. And he's a way to try and find out how, try to work out a way to do it without alerting the creature under the city. And that is where we are. Any questions, any reminders that you need?
No?
No?
It's always a bad sign. Nope.
Oh, I didn't realise I was off the camera. No, don't think I have any questions.
Okie dokie.
Do you have any questions?
Me?
Not you, them.
No, all right.
Oh, good.
Good.
Right, well, in which case, there you are.
So we're at the pawnbrokers.
You're at the pawnbrokers.
What was the pawnbrokers called?
The pawnbrokers.
The dude.
Fandelier. Joseph Fandelier.
Oh. Joseph.
You've written the wrong name down again?
Shut up.
Always. Joseph writes Richard. Fandelier. Chandelier. Richard Chandelier.
No, Joseph Fandelier.
Pawnbroker? Necromancer.
Will I freak you out by giving you the spelling?
No. Don't give me the spelling. Right.
Right.
So, Framling's gone.
Yep.
Okay.
Gone upstairs.
So take it is this somewhere we can hide out? I'm assuming the pawnbrokers.
Yeah, for now.
Till we break it.
It's only a matter of time.
All right,
So, gents,
go on.
we have our plan. Tonight, we will enter the barracks. But not before.
Recon.
Yes. We need do some much needed recon. Because we know nothing about the barracks, do we?
Yeah, so we could have Renyir kind of where I'm watching, because we need to know how the food's getting in, who's delivering the food, where it comes from, and I need to go on down to the brewery and do some brewing.
You're going to brew. Okay.
Poison.
Oh. Okay. So, clear a desk and draw a big parchment plan of action.
Okay.
So what do we know so far? What do we have? We've got the two chaps. Their names, Oliver and Reynald. Not to be confused with Reynald. Because I'll be just awkward. Torturers.
Mm-hmm.
We know Oliver and Reynald. Yes?
Yeah.
Of the Knights Templars.
Of the Knights Templars.
Yes. The distinct difference between the Templars and the Church of Sigmar. Remember that, yeah?
Yeah, they are from the barracks.
Correct.
So now Oliver and Renald, they aren't supposed to leave the barracks. That's been
I don't know whether they're supposed to leave the barracks or not. Or whether they can.
They can, by the looks of it, that they do.
So how about Renyir watches the barracks and gets that information forward?
What information?
How the food's arriving, when the delivery is, all that kind of stuff. Get an idea of the personnel, what they do, and how we possibly can use that kind of like as an entry point.
Okay.
Any comings and goings, anything of note, really.
going back just quickly out of game. You know Oliver and Renald. How often do they leave? Because he said
once a week on a Monday morning.
once a week on a Monday morning.
After the...
Isn't it Monday morning now?
It's Monday afternoon. You missed them.
You'll have to wait a week. Right. So that opportunity's gone. Okay. So we need to find who the suppliers are.
Yep. Be good to know who the cooks are too. Who works in the kitchens, what they look like, where they live.
Unless they're stationed in the barracks, then they won't be coming out.
Well, yeah, that's totally possible, but they might have outsiders coming in, you know. Bit demeaning for a night to be cooking soup.
So we need to be careful when we leave here because we don't know how many eyes are on us already. Are we safe? How safe are we?
Well, I mean, it depends on who comes afterward, I suppose. I mean, if we're unobserved, we're fine, aren't we?
And we still have Werner Salz, the priest.
Mm-hmm.
We could always pay him a visit.
You could.
Okay. So why don't we scope out the barracks? So we've been here. Sorry, okay, yeah. We've been here. In the time we've been here around the barracks, do we see people leaving, like especially at night?
Never.
Never.
Nope.
The only time we ever heard of someone leaving is obviously the two torturers.
Yes, you're right. Actually, I've made a food bar there. They leave. It's not a Monday. You went. It's. I've got my dates mixed up. You went on Sunday. It was Sunday after the burning, as Renyir pointed out. Sunday after the burning's done, and the bodies are taken away. The torturers and the orator were witnessed by Renyir to leave. You then went and saw Werner Stolz, who confirmed that you had just missed earlier in that day Oliver and Reynolds' confessions. And now it's Monday, so sorry, got myself mixed up a little bit there.
Okay. But either
way, it was a large party. You know, we are focusing on only 10 knights. We already know that there's torturers. We already know that there are squires. It has been mentioned, it has been noted. It is a large party. This is a very large building. There are more people in there than just 10 knights. But they never leave, except the torturers, who have turned up every Sunday over the last couple of weeks. Not straight away, but have recently, once a week after the burning, show up because they're not happy, as he told you about their confession. And the only thing that he was aware of at that time was that the only people that interact with him is the people that provide them with their food once a week, and it's driven in through the front in a large wagon.
Once a week?
Yeah. But you
Right.
never asked specifically, and he wasn't given, if anyone knew when that happened, what day it happened, was there a time, anything like that. That just didn't seem to, the conversation didn't go down that route.
Someone else must know, though. Anybody around there would probably be able to tell.
They've been there for 3 months.
And there's a market in front of it, is there?
No.
No?
No.
Oh.
What you've got is the south of it is a merchant district. Merchants, remember, deal in large bulk produce and shipping, that sort of thing. The markets are in the east sector.
Aye.
Now, they are not going to be big enough to need or warrant merchants to provide them with bulk. So it'll be coming from one of the markets.
hmm Looks like we're going to the market then.
What's a plan? We're just gonna walk around and ask every single keeper just to ask who supplies the barracks.
Don't know yet. Think of something though.
I think we should personally pay our little priest a visit.
We can ask him, aye.
He's gonna know.
Yeah, you will.
He will know. Now, the only question is, how do I approach him?
It's going to be a difficult one because, I mean, you're now kind of like asking specifics of kind of like the logistics of the barracks, He's going to get suspicious. And he knows your name.
A lot of people know my name. Now, clearly stand out.
Well, that's true, but kind of like that links you to the barracks, doesn't it? At the moment, nothing really links you to the barracks apart from you're interested in a missing friend. But as soon as kind of like you start asking logistical problems to this guy, it's kind of pique his suspicion, isn't it? Of course it is, and then it's Arnung asking about, how many guards are in the barracks? When does the food come in? Who's in charge? Which is the captain? When do the guards change? It's going to link you. So at least if we go to the market, we can remain fairly anonymous and just listen out for information.
Okay.
Yeah, it's worth a try. At least I can ask around.
We'll do it your way first. Keep a low key. If that doesn't work, I'm paying our little priest friend a visit.
That's fair enough.
What do you think, Renyir?
Sounds like a plan.
I'll might be worth swinging by the inn and asking if the barman knows. Like, he ain't know.
Well, if you think that's best, Leaf, then you do it. And if I start asking questions out, again, I'm going to stand out.
Oh yeah. I'll send one of the kids up to ask him and see if he has any information about it.
Okay. I can't stress this needs to be very low key.
Oh yeah. Only asking friends now.
Right.
What barman?
The guy in the Golden Goose.
Ah,
I forgot his
Fanimus.
name.
Yeah, Fanimus.
Fanimus, yeah.
Okay.
I don't see why you would know. What connection would you have with the barracks? It's knowledge you would
It's
need
just
to have.
they've been there for 3 months. You know what I mean? You hear things, people talk, and the Goose is a good place for kind of like merchants to trade. So you might know something from that.
Isn't that like Goebel's place of finding out information?
Well, mine too.
Yeah, I think the barman's more, but keeps his eyes out of it. And he is.
No, he's definitely watching.
Okay. So, Leaf, you get your boys doing your thing.
Yeah.
Renyir, you keep your eyes peeled. We'll pay a visit to the market. Keep our eyes and ears open. See if you can find anything small, which could be significant. And if all else fails, we have the priest.
Mhm.
And he will answer. I think he needs to be reminded of who Arnung is. And let's not fuck this up, lads, because the last thing I want is the immortal waking up and fucking my day up. And also, one thing I need to make clear: whatever happens today stays in this room.
What?
Whatever happens today stays between.
You could say don't volunteer information. I mean, what are we going to say? Framling could say is kind of like, what did you do then?
I don't
And we
know,
say
volunteer information.
nothing. We
which-
bought some chips. We ate some chips. What? He's going to ask what we did. So what information? Maybe is at the end of all this, you let us know what you would like to be more discreet. You know. Because you're going to say, well, I have this new information. You're going to go, how did you get this new information? And you're going to go, oh, well, it just came to us. I
You
guess.
leave that to me, Leaf. You leave the talking to me. And Renyir, just remember, things just don't need to be said. They don't need to be said. Like, talking to the witches kind of thing. Didn't need to be said.
Oh. Yeah, I think it would have. You were trying to get him to speak to Kunz-Holtz, wasn't it? Kunhauser?
Renyir, you work for me. You answer to me. Remember? That's how this shit works, and this is how we get things done. If you keep running your mouth, there's a good chance we're all going to end up dead.
Yes, sir.
Trust me. I've known Framling all my life. And it's one immortal you don't want to piss off.
Oh, so that is real then. He is an immortal.
Figure of speech. It's not. Here, have some brandy.
Oh.
And you will hear things. The more time we are in each other's company, some things may sound outlandish and untrue. They may be true, they may not be, but I think just don't get bogged down with specifics. Immortal,
Brotherhood.
brotherhood, immortal. I mean, it's just,
People
hey,
don't like
immortal guy. Means nothing. Yeah, come on. If he was, we don't really know if he's immortal. Moving on from the immortal, we know where we stand. So we have our plan. Let's not get killed. That would be nice too.
So, let me get this straight. When you leave here, Leaf is going to send one of his lads off to the Harvest Goose.
Yes.
While
I
you
have
guys,
goose.
yep, and you guys head to the east of the city. You've got the new market, which is several markets in one.
We want to go to the whole market.
And you've got the old market, the alt market, which is the most rundown, oldest, ancient part of the town. So-
The Alt Quarter.
Yeah.
Alt market, alt quarter.
Alt means old, mate. So
Yeah.
it's the old quarter, alt market, right? So the old quarter, old market, and then
Yep.
you've got the new quarter, new market.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Uh,
It's
yes.
on that side, isn't it?
Yes. So basically, if you look towards the east gate, you have north and south. To the north is the new market, which has got several markets. They're the better markets, and to the south of said gate is the old quarter and old market. So 4 markets in total, 3 to the north and 1 in the south. So the new market is deals mainly in foodstuffs, supplies goods of money descriptions. Several markets within in the district, interspersed with workshops, dwellings of various types. The southeast corner, specifically opposite the old market, is the Goba Barn, an area occupied by the city's tanners, dyers, and fullers. A little further north and west is the Schmiedestrasse, where metal workers are in the majority, and the Toffel Flats, which is the Potter's Quarter. There's other artisans' workshops, guild houses, a number of lesser craft guilds can also be found here. The Alt Market, on the other hand, this is the area that's dealing with the bulk of things coming in and out of the town, of the city itself. Yep. So lots of workshops, mercantile concerns of all sizes. They've got basically the ins and outs. So effectively, so people are bringing in their wheat, timbers, that sort of thing. So everything from the local area will all end up in that sort of sector, that area. So really, what you're looking for is the new marked, which is probably going to be the location, most likely the location of anybody selling good quality but low quantity produce. They'll supply. No, there'll be places there that's where the food market is effectively, yeah. So you're going to get guys and girls walking in there buying their food for their homes, but it'll also be the place that will supply taverns and that sort of thing. No doubt, like the Palace district is being supplied by merchants. So the barracks itself, they've got a hell of a lot of pull, a lot of power, but they are completely foreign to this location. So their likelihood is that they'll have to go to the new market to get their goods and produce brought in. What else have the alt marked? 2 main markets in there. Again, foodstuffs, no livestock. Those markets are in the north end. Fresh fruit, vegetables, meat, and so on, which are brought into the city through the east gate shortly after dawn, and the markets are open from an hour after dawn until dusk. The alt market is where most of the basic food requirements of the city are satisfied. The market from which the district takes its name is situated to the southeastern corner, backed by a narrow winding streets in the south of the district. Heavy halfling population. Yeah.
All right, so if we head to the showboat in the marked, that's a good place to start, really.
So the
Not the alt marked, new marked. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I got them the wrong way around. So the alt market is where you're going to have the average person is get buying their food. The new market is where you're going to have businesses buying their food. So you've got to consider, is the barracks buying its food as individual orders, bulk buying for 15, 20, 25 people? Would that be more of a business enterprise, and therefore the alt market it'll be outside of that. So if you think of the alt market as any old markets and old towns, yeah, barrows, lean-tos, and that sort of thing. People there selling them out of carts. That sort of concept that still exists to this day. Whereas the new market is slightly further up the food chain.
But it's not really a food market, is it?
The alt market is the food market. The new market isn't. So
the new market's more like warehouse buying stuff. When you buy it in bulk. Yeah, it shipped to you.
Yeah, but it's usually artisanal stuff and kind of, it's not really food.
There's 3 markets within the new market, remember. So, for example, that's where the livestock market is and that sort of thing. I mean, ultimately you've just got to consider, or try and make a guess as to, based on time concerns, what you think the Knights, the Barracks. I mean, as you know, Leaf, Knights are hardly sort of like dredging the city, but then again, they wouldn't have been involved in organising it. They'll have sent out some lower guys, and just as long as somebody's producing, bringing in their bags of potatoes, fresh meat, salt, peppers, and veg, who's going to produce that? They would, if the numbers are anywhere as expected, the food market itself will not be. They'd have to buy multiple supplies from multiple locations. You got the impression this came from one business. Based on the very scant information you were given, the Newmark would be the place that they would
I'm
have
just
to go to.
I'm just wondering if the. Yeah, I think we should go to the bar in the Newmarket and ask a few questions around there.
Okay, so you're ignoring the showboat, which would be kind of, well, that's a
No. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I mean, it is the
showboat's in the Great Park. It's in the middle of the city. It's a good distance away. It's
Is it?
also yeah.
The green bit.
What am I reading then?
I don't know.
It doesn't make much sense. That's actually underneath the. Okay.
You're probably reading something about who also owns stuff in there.
Oh yeah. You're right. I get you.
Yep.
All right, then poke around there then. Ignore the showboat.
Yeah. So if you're going to the, so did you say the Newmarket? Yeah, the Newmarket.
Yeah.
Good places there would be the Singing Moon. No, that's a night spot. Templar's Downfall, cocktails and restaurant.
Templar's Downfall. That sounds good.
Yeah, okay. Is that where you're going to head?
Aye.
Right, so you step out. You're deep in your, well, not deep. You're on the edge of your territory. You've got a lot of people that you know. You see Leaf step to one side, talks to a lad, must be in his early teens, looking bedraggled and dirty. Talks to him quietly for a moment, and you see the urchin run off up the main street to the north. You spend an hour walking the street. I take it you're staying away from pretty much alleyways and dank places, but not going out into the open public. You're trying to blend in, or you're really sticking to back roads and that sort of thing.
Nah, because it's a little bit suspicious. You want to be on a busy road. You know what I mean? You don't want to be kind of like the only bodies in a back alley.
Well, remember the territory that you're in, the South Gate, heads on both sides of the gate will get right up to the Wind District, so you could get that far completely unseen. Yeah. So in this location, you can get right up to this point here, which I know nobody can see, but you can get well off to the east, the southeast district, and then you can head up in some form.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay. So you're gonna the first sort of 20 minutes, as you're heading east across the main gate, eventually come out onto one of the main thoroughfares between the Ostwald and the Wind District. The Wind District, to be a pretty the underworld aspect of it is a pretty vile place compared to all the others. It is on the surface, it's the city's artisans, there's merchants' warehouses, there's lower mix of middle and lower class homes, taverns, hostilleries, average and lower quality tenement blocks. It's effectively the industrial quarter, carpenters, smiths, cobblers, coopers, candlesticks makers. But as well as the Dwarven Chapel to Grungy, it's also got the Windhund Haulage Company. But neither one of you, both Leaf and Renyir, there's no way that you're going to wander into this place without briefing Arnung, I would have thought. Of all the places in the city, you're close. You are on the border of a place that the underworld finds distasteful. It would be dangerous not to bring up something, you know. I'm just bringing that up because I think that both of you might have forgot.
Well, yeah, I suppose. I mean, like, we're just passing through those, so kind of like, or we're really delving.
You know that this guy. Bear in mind that none of you are known to him. Everyone, right? Okay, we've lost Renyir, or is he just not moving? Oh, he's still there.
Yeah.
He's blurred his screen again. That's why you can't see any movement. So just to be clear, Renyir's a kid that's being found to be a turncoat. Arnung is a hell of a prize, and nobody knows who the hell you are, Leaf. From your point of view, Arnung, being a person that has lived around, you've got an instinct. As you get onto this main road, you can see that both Leaf and Renyir very subtly become a little bit more tense.
Which area are we in now?
What are we?
You're in the
Why
wind.
so tense?
Oh, the wind.
You're not in the wind. You're on the border of the Ostwald district and the wind, heading up the main thoroughfare.
Yeah, rough spot.
Presumably, Leaf, you will not take them into the wind.
I was going to skirt it, to be honest, after hearing that.
Yeah. Right, well, with that said, you are heading up the road, and you note you are or have drawn the attention of several people who are following you in the crowd. Rough-looking fellas with hard looks in their eyes. They stick out to those like yourselves who know what to look for. They're not really blending in. They are walking with that sort of cocky assurance of criminals in a street, in an area that they're known. They are on their side of the street, as it were, Leaf, and therefore aren't breaching any etiquette. But you can see them sort of working their way through the crowd and keeping a straight eye on you. They're wearing long jackets to conceal weaponry, no doubt. But there is no doubt in your mind, Leaf, and Renyir, that these belong to the lieutenant that runs the area.
Yeah,
well, I'm sure he is.
So, are you boys getting this? We all been followed, right?
Yeah, don't worry about it. We'll just skirt the area and we'll be fine.
As you start getting to the northwest sector end of the main wind road and approaching the old market, you see ahead of you about five guys leaning against a wagon. The wagon itself is one of those two-wheel affairs with the long traces. The horse is not in sight, so it's at an angle. You can see them sort of sitting and lounging there. You cannot get past them without coming into quite close proximity to them. They are sitting there with that supreme confidence. People are avoiding them as best they can. But they are clearly watching you. A watch patrol walking past completely ignores them, though they are clearly up to no good. You've got a good distance between you still, but you realise that unless you're going to just turn around or otherwise you're going to have to walk full belt into them.
Is there no way to negotiate to the new marked back without going through these guys? Like, can we not just head a bit north and then
you can walk back into
the entire area?
So you can. That's what I'm saying is you don't. If you continue the way you are, you're going to walk into them. But you can go back into your territory to the west. You're on that road, yeah, that divides the two territories.
Yeah.
Okay, they are here. At the northwest section of said territory, that junction, you're heading towards them. You can see them just sitting there quite calmly as this sort of watch patrol wanders past them. Remember, lads, to keep an eye on your phones.
All right. Okay.
While you consider your options,
Oh, right.
you note that Renyir's missing.
Oh, where's he gone now?
There is no
Did you-
trace of him, no sight of him. He's just literally not there.
Leaf, did you see where the boy went?
I didn't. I was too busy clocking a guy across the street there.
I don't like this. One bit. The whole purpose of this was to stay low key. We are not low key. We're standing.
No, obviously we stand out, but I mean, this is kind of normal for this town, you know. We're walking into an area which is basically kind of like the biggest shithole of the city. It's where all the prostitution is, all the smuggling goes on. These are just the lookouts for that kind of thing, you know. So
Okay,
obviously they're keeping an eye on us because we're standing out a bit.
so we need to get out of here.
Yeah, well, we need to continue on to Newmarket.
There's got to be a way around, right?
Yeah, there is. We could continue up, stay on our side.
Oh, where the hell's that boy gone?
I don't think they're going to worry too much about him.
Okay.
It's just us who they're scoping out, I think.
Okay. Well, come on, leave.
We'll keep a respectful distance and make our way around.
So you're going to continue up the main street.
Yes.
Okay. As you do approach, you see that they stand up. Arnung in particular, you see one man. He's dressed in old formed leather armour across his chest and halfway down his thighs. It's a very old sort of armour design. A fur collar, moth-eaten and quite ancient, is wrapped around the sides of his shoulders. A leather cap perched upon his head, and you can see there's sweat marks across the rim. He's got an unshaven, bristly look about him. He's biting into an apple, and you see most of his teeth are missing. You can see metal rings adorn fingers and black fingernails as you're getting that close. Everything about him is vile. There's just something about him that makes you see that this is a man that is happy to live at the bottom of the cesspit and make it his home. As he steps forward, he stops. You can see he makes a stop as if he's almost hit an invisible wall, like a line in the sand. He steps, as you walk moving away with a respectable distance between you. He steps away from this cart, suddenly becoming apparent. His men stand up and move forward. They are blatantly, clearly armed. And then he's walking towards you with a distinct purpose, and then suddenly just stops. He's literally, effectively midway into the junction.
Have a glance around. Is there anyone else there that he's become aware of?
Absolutely not. He's staring directly at you.
At me.
At you.
Oh, right. Okay.
I guess he's just kind of like, this is boundary, you know.
Okay. So, again, Leaf, how do you want to play this? I said I wanted to keep it low key. I don't want to be.
Well, I mean, let him continue. We'll turn left.
Okay. They're going in northwestern direction towards the south of the Great Park.
Yeah.
When it's clear that you're moving past him, and there is a fair few people between you, this is a large street, a very large intersection. When it becomes apparent that you're not going to approach him, that you are not going to continue in the direction that will allow him to interact with you, you hear him call out, Arnung, a moment of your time. The people are shouting and talking. There's people calling out their wares. You just hear there's blah, 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 and people nearby him obviously sort of, but then they just go about their business. Nobody's taking a particular interest in this.
Do I pick up on Arnung?
Yes.
Oh, let's stop. Turn around.
Stand there still eating his apple. When you turn around, you see that sort of that vile, he's eating his apple. You see him go. You know, like a crooked sort of smile. Like. He casually tosses the core into the street, wipes his greasy mouth with his dirty hand.
Come along, Leaf. This man wants to say something.
Mm-hmm.
I'll walk over.
He bows. Everything about it is sarcastic. It's more of a curtsy, in fact. I have a message. The king extends his hand and invites you to the Red Moon for lunch.
I accept. Tell the king.
I'll tell him nothing. You're not my boss. And he turns and walks away. Or parts, the men are staring at you. He just turns and starts walking through them, and they just sort of like lean to one side, not taking their eyes off you. Completely dismissing Leaf. He stops partway through them, looks back over his shoulder at you. You can go now. You're dismissed. And then continues on.
That was rude. Do I have any spare urchins kicking around?
You'll have a few, obviously, on your borders, definitely.
Yeah, I'd like to kind of spot one and summon them.
Okay.
I'm just glaring at him. I'm not moving.
Goes back to the wagon, sits back, leans on it. Impotent. In the crowd, blending in amongst the people walking backwards and forwards. One of your smaller urchins, one of your watchers on the borders, approaches you, hiding in the crowd itself, desperately trying not to be seen by the opposing group, which are still standing right beside you.
I'm guessing kind of like that I'm out of earshot yet.
Well, as long as you're not shouting. There's a lot of crowd, there's a lot of sound.
Yeah, I want to have a quiet word with the kid.
Uh-huh.
Go and see one of your brothers. Is he nodding? Sorry, I've got a really bad connection. It's just I'm just getting stutter vision on this.
Right.
So go and see one of your brothers, and get them to speak to the king and see if he has extended an invitation to Arnung.
Well, put it this way. So this is out of game. The Red Moon is in the Freiburg, far north, well outside this guy's territory. The Freiburg obviously is the middle-class residential area. It's got the Church of Sigma there, that sort of thing. You can see how he stops. Now, it could be that the reason he stops where he is because he's he knows who runs the place, as you know who runs this place.
Mm-hmm.
For these guys in game, we're saying it's your territory, which is what you perceive to be a place of safety for you, but you're well aware of who commands in each, in this district, particularly that you're standing on the border of, and if you know, then he knows, and obviously it could just be that that now you have made it clear that you work with Oberlander, so you know the lieutenants that run these areas, and you know that they are all terrified of Oberlander. And they've got their areas. To cross those areas, you're barely, the people that Oberlander controls. You're well aware of the politics behind it all. But generally, there are times where people will move in and around each other's areas, sometimes without permission. And it causes a little bit of rivalry, a little bit of cleansing of the palate at night. But you know that you are hiding out, or have been hiding out in a district of a place that no one will enter. Ever, without permission. Now, the Freiburg, he might, be up there, go up there, but it would definitely be something that would be insane, for him to set you up going to the Red Moon, if that was anything to do with him. If it was anything notorious. You know what he's up to. You know what he does for a living.
Mm-hmm.
But the Freiburg is an absolute out of sight of his territory. That would be insane for him to set anything up there.
Still fishy though.
potentially. Anyway, the kid's like, and he skirts off into the street. Arnung, on the other hand, is apparently standing in the middle of the junction, like.
He seems quite calm. I thought he'd get his back out there, like.
The fact he hasn't moved, spoken, and is glaring at the guy who's laughing. Look at him. What are you going to do? Go on, you've been summoned. Go and have your nice cake. You never know, I might be seeing you soon. Oh, he's giving us his stare, lads.
I think his camera's frozen. All right, so we'll skirt up through the next to the park then. In that case, and make our way at the new mark there.
Say, Leaf, this is for 30 years ago. Things would have ended differently.
Oh, I'm sure. But we're on a mission, and he's deliberately trying to wind you up.
It's working.
Yeah.
Whether it's your imagination or as you continue in a northwestern direction, you can still hear that mocking laugh, as if he's making it louder as you walk away. Now, as you get to the south of the Great Park, obviously you can head in the northeastern direction towards a new marked area if you continue on your path, or are you going to go to the Red Moon, which is to the far north of the Freeburg?
I think we should go to the Red Moon.
How long is it till lunch?
Everybody has a different lunch.
Exactly.
The time itself is non-committal, but it's generally like, it's midday as it were, so probably at some point when you arrive, perhaps.
So, am I aware when he's saying the king, it could only be the king? Or is it another king that he's speaking of?
Well, so as you're finding out...
Is it Oberlander? That's what obviously is Arnung, is when he says, the king, is Arnung thinking, right to think, he's talking about Oberlander. That's how I see it.
That's how Arnung sees it.
Okay. Alright, come along, Leaf, take me to the Red Moon.
Mm-hmm.
The drinks. Well, the Red Moon is on the eastern road. That's it's near the northeast gate, east of the Temple of Sigma. It's a bar. It's a cabaret bar. When you get there, you can see it's a multi-story building. It is very well adorned. You can see the windows are blacked out, painted dark, but it is in very good repair. Freshly painted walls, the paths outside have been swept. It appears closed as you approach this club, effectively. Now, if you have, from time to time, been to the Red Moon, it is a casino, it is a live bands, very large lower floor. It's run by a very glamorous owner, a very beautiful woman known as Eva Dietrich. It's an expensive place to get into. The decor is plush, it's stylish with a hint of camp. Upstairs is where the casino is. It's got a reputation, a place of being fair. Lower floor is occupied by the bar room and the stage, where bands play every night. It's got large round tables, plush upholstery. You are looking at the higher classes coming here to spend their hard-earned money. There's a side work. There's also of ladies of good humour.
Now that's a euphemism.
Yeah, I like that one. It has a lot of distinguishable people here. It is generally open late till it doesn't open till around about 10 o'clock p.m. around just before midnight, and will go on till the early hours of the morning. While you're there, you can see that several casks of ale are still on the back of a wagon, and that vast majority of them are already been rolled down into the cellar below. You can see that there is a very large man, quite powerfully built, taking note of this delivery. The place, it's in a well-established area on the Bergen Barn. There's a lot of foot traffic, a lot of horse traffic, carriages, wagons, and he's on the front of the street, and they've got the cellar doors in the floor opened up, and they're rolling these barrels down as you're approaching through the crowd, completely and totally unseen.
I'll let Leaf lead the way. Come along, Leaf.
All right. Head for the entrance then.
Entrance itself is expected. Like I say, this is a good 9-10 hours early than it'll open up. As you go towards the door, sort of the big lad with the clipboard and the chalkboard, and chalk, biro. Go. We're closed. Come back later.
Have you got a list there?
List for what?
Guests.
Well, not now.
Yeah?
We're not going to open till 10. No, I'm taking delivery. Come back later.
I'm here to see the king. I was told I'm having lunch with the king. My name's Arnung.
Apologies. If you just wait for this casket, get yourself go down the stairs. You'll find your way through. The cellar's well lit. Walk upstairs. They're inside in the kitchen itself eating.
Do that then.
Looks like you're waiting for you to acknowledge you've spoken. Hello. You'll see Carl there.
Carl.
Just tell Carl that I've sent you down, and you're here to see Eva and our guests.
And who are you?
I'm Hans.
Hans.
Thank you, Hans.
Just turns around and looks back at the wagon. You see him just getting on with taking the delivery in. You walk down to the cellar. The cellar is huge, massive. It obviously is the entire underground of the entire structure itself. In the cellar, you could see racks of large cask ales, crates, straws sticking out of them with bottled liquors and refined alcohol, as well as there's hanging hams, foodstuffs in a caged off area. There's broken tables, supplies off to one side, some woodworking tools where they repair and do some maintenance to the job itself. You can see there's tubs of paint, that sort of thing. But there are clear paths lined so that you know where to walk. Under the ground itself, you see 2 or 3 guys in workman's clothes rolling these casks to the back left where they're all stored. Even here, you can see that there's a number of Dragon Ale stamped casks, as well as others from outside the city. Walking to the right-hand side, you can see that there is a large metal grated gate that is inside this very thick reinforced stone wall. And on the other side, you can see stairs of stone leading up. Approaching the gate without any visible, there's nobody there. You go to the gate and it does just unhook. Opening it up, you can continue up the stairs. It's about a width and a half of an average person. Also well lit. Who's up front?
Gesture to Leaf.
Well, I'm leading the way, am I? Yeah, I'll head up the stairs.
Okay. Well, when you get to the door itself, the door is thick, solid hardwood, metal banding, definitely reinforced in case somebody tries to come into the cellar. Again, there's a large handled, sort of like a wheel, as it were. You open the door, and on the other side is an almost physical copy of Hans. Very large, powerful built guy, where shirts and armor don't seem to be built for these sort of things, and they always seem to be figure hugging. Shaped almost like a carrot from broad to a narrow waist. With a less than friendly look on his eyes. As the door opens, he sort of you can't help but sort of go, huh! And then his face, who are you? As he approaches you, one massive big meaty claw coming up.
This is Arnung. Your call. Hans sent us. We're expecting in the kitchen.
Apologies. I was not expecting anybody upstairs. You see when you step out that there's a window to the right-hand side. He must have just been, he's obviously supposed to be watching the wagon, but he must have seen you and Hans talking, and he's just been sort of like caught, probably leaning against the wall, napping. You're welcome. Welcome to the Red Moon. I'll take you. Follow me. Close the door behind you. He walks down the corridor. This part of the floor itself is still stone, well swept, well maintained. The walls are lacquered wood and painted in quite a soft hued red. You can hear the sounds of movement and talking and laughter. As you bear in mind that you've gone back up the stairs, so you are technically on the ground floor. You are on the ground floor. As you step through, you enter into a large kitchen. The kitchen again is very well appointed, very well lit. There is several fire pits reinforced and built up. Lots of counters. Big knives hanging from hooks in the middle of the floor. There's areas of sinks, that sort of thing. Many doors lining the left and end of the room, no doubt leading into potential pantries, that sort of thing. At the end of the central island of tables where they can prepare meals, you see in opposite direction 2 doors very close to each other. Either there's a thin wall in between or it's an entry-exit point. You've seen this before, and you've been on the other side, Liv, and you know that to be the area into the main dining area, the main hall. However, what gets your attention is near the end there is a large table. It has a checkered red and white cloth across it, and you can see there are several men and one very attractive woman sitting there. One of the men you recognise, both of you will recognise as Oberlander. He's sitting there with a remarkably small porcelain cup before him. You know it's obviously a strong coffee. They haven't given it a special name. It's that Tillian stuff. But it can't help but laugh when you see a man pick up such a tiny cup and sip from it. And he's sitting there with his legs crossed, dainty, if not for the fact of his reputation as a cold-blooded psychopathic killer. Sitting beside him, you recognise one of the... Well, actually, you Arnung, beside him, sitting to one side, you can see that there is a average built man, but with a flamboyant appearance. He's in very high level, very expensive clothing, with gold brocade and ruffles. His hair is powdered and in such a way that it gives the pretense of a ponytail, and you know it to be obviously a wig. It is a thing normally worn at the court or courtiers or by fops and people with concept or feelings of grandeur. The man, clearly with his face powdered, has a pale look upon him, and he's sitting, his teeth yellow and stained, really prominent because of his powdering of his face. He's sitting there with a small stemmed glass of some kind of red alcohol, by the thickness of it, port. Sitting at the end of the table opposite Oberlander is a striking woman, late 40s, early 50s perhaps, low cut top, very expensive dress. Age has not dimmed her looks in the slightest. A delicate necklace of very bright, well polished silver with a single blue stone hangs low between her bosoms. She is not partaking of anything alcohol wise. Behind the fop and Oberlander are 4 men in total. They're dressed in fairly standard costed clothing, thick leathers, heavy waistbands, clearly security or bodyguards of some kind for both of them.
So, the king summoned, and the king of the north arrived.
Really? You going with that?
Really?
As you say, please, there is a seat here. He looks at the 2 men behind you. 1 man behind you, sorry. You come lightly guarded?
I need to be guarded.
How did a man such as yourself, who has such an appearance of intelligence but is clearly stupid, survive in this world to rise to the Lord of Nordland?
I think you've answered your own question. I'm not stupid. I've survived this long because I clearly know what I'm doing, and people know where they stand with me.
I think you're a brute from an old time. I think you're out-timed yourself. I don't think the underlords are going to tolerate someone such as yourself. I don't think you've got what it takes to actually run an enterprise. Are you going to sit down?
I am sitting down.
I did not pick up on that.
How big is he?
Just, huh? You're in a foreign city, causing yourself great stir. You are a target, a prize, and you wonder if you need to be guarded. Where's your tribesman?
My tribesman.
Right, you're going to irritate me to the point that I'm going to snap. Forget who you think you are. This is my city, and I'm the power here. Stop being an arse. Answer me question. Where's your tribesman?
I was just taken back by the question. My tribesman. He's not my tribesman. He has a name. He's an old friend.
Eva, could you leave us, please? This might not actually turn out to be something that a lady should watch. You're trying me patience, Arnung. I'm going to warn you one more time. Drop the cocky accent. No, I didn't say accent. Drop the cocky concept here, right? I'm trying to talk to you directly, and I'm already having my buttons pushed because of your presence here. I offered you a hand of respect, and you've slapped it. When I ask you a question, you give me a direct answer, and I'll do the same. Show me lack of respect again, this conversation's over, and you don't make it home. What the hell was that? And that's my wife. Eva stands up, looking very, looking a bit nervous. She's gone a bit distraught. Don't worry, my dear. We'll clean up any mess if it comes to it. Now, you Northerners, you have a reputation for being stubborn. So I'm going to give you this last time. You're here for a reason. I've extended this invite in a place of neutrality. We have a problem that me and you can bring together. We can fix this. But you're pissing me off.
I don't understand why you're so touchy, Oberlander. I have not said anything to piss you off. You asked me a question.
And you're being stupid. Do I need to be guarded? My tribesmen, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
It's a question. So you're asking me questions.
Okay.
Why have you called me here?
I invited you.
I get
Ludwig,
it. If you wanted me
we're done.
dead, I'd be dead.
Ludwig, leave. The other guy stands up. He doesn't look pale. Beyond his powdering of his face, he doesn't look upset. He was watching with a very intent stare. He gets up and also leaves, taking 2 of the guards. The other 2 men stare equally between yourself and leave standing behind you. I don't remember seeing this guy before. You recruited somebody from within the city?
Yeah. He's my little guide. He knows the area well.
I don't see Renyir anywhere. You throwing him off the cliff yet?
He probably slipped off the cliff himself. No
Only
idea.
had to put up with that little shit for 2 days. I swear if it wasn't for the fact I wanted to give him as a gift, I'd have cut him into bits. He just doesn't know when to shut up.
Do you know what? Of all the things we've disagreed on, that's one thing we can't agree on.
Forgive my outburst. You've come in your defensive. You don't know why you're here. I understand. Goebbels. He's reaching out and putting pressure in place I don't like. And it's because of you. Nuln is looking to put an organisation together amongst the larger cities. Nordland doesn't have a large city. They've come to me to say, does Midland have the power to control it, because everyone's heard of Arnung. You need to be established and you need to be considered if you want to be on board. So we've got two things to discuss here. One is Goebbels, who I cannot and will not go against. And the other is Nuln and the Underlords. You're so far to the north, you're removed from the facts of how this world works. So what do we talk about first? Goebbels. Stolz informed him of your visit. Or I should say, somebody informed him of your visit, and Goebbels went to Stolz. Stolz isn't going to lie. Nobody lies to Goebbels if you want to keep your position. Goebbels clearly wants to know why you are here, why you're talking to the priesthood now. He just wants to know where you stand. If I don't get that information, he will call himself. It will cause me no amount of heartache. Not that he's going to talk to you directly, but to my business. And I promise you, from pressure from Nolan especially, that I need to at least find out if you are going to be a friend and ally. So, why are you here? Why? No more lies. You're interested in the priesthood. You've been talking to them. You had a particular line of questioning about the torturers. Obviously something to do with the barracks. He's asked me to investigate who's killed that orator. He's asked me to investigate what the barracks are now doing, as they haven't been seen or heard. There's not even been a light in their windows in 24 hours. Locals have been talking about sounds of screaming and laughter coming from the place. I'm not going anywhere near it, so that's going to be a lie, whatever I report. He just wants to know, because all this stuff has happened since you arrived. Why are you here? Tell the man the truth, and if he can be a friend, he can help you. Because I can't see you being an enemy of his. He's all about the graph. He's all about the next moves. He's all about what happens to the city in the coming months after the Duke dies. He doesn't care about the underworld as long as it does not impact on him. And you are clearly of the underworld. What are you up to?
I just want to know about one chap in particular.
Who?
Burroughs.
Why? He's just a Talite. Like many Sigbrights and Ulricans, one guy picked up. You're an Ulrican, aren't you?
No.
So the rumours are true? You run the wilds? You make pacts with dryads? You spend nights frolicking with she-elves? Lucky man. Norden's it's a stronghold of Ulric. How can a Talite... you know what? Not relevant. Right, Burroughs. He did a little bit of work for us. He's not part of the business. He was good with lame horses. He helped out, and he was paid well for it. Suddenly he gets picked up 3 months ago, end of. They're making a big deal about him being a witch. If he is, he is. If he isn't, he isn't. Doesn't matter to us. Doesn't matter to Goebbels. But you're rocking a boat here and it's causing problems. So why are you interested in Burroughs? That you could cause us... I mean, you've just went to the High Capitulator.
So no, as a Talite, I just need a... I've got questions for Burroughs. Just want to know if he is what he says he is.
Then take it as yes. The Templars have said he is. People have been executed based on his information. Must be. Why
Why is
lose
he not?
over it? Move on.
What I don't get is that if he is a witch, why is he not dead?
What does it matter?
It matters to me. Can
You're
we
the
not
king
disagree?
of Nordland? It doesn't make sense. We could agree that it matters to you, not a problem, but it makes no sense.
Where do you and Goebel stand?
In what sense? Are
Are
we
you
besties?
friends?
No, we're not friends. He is an iron heel that stands upon my throat, something that I cannot actually remove, so have to live with. I am allowed to run my empire, and I will point out aloud the way I see fit. But at any given time, Goebbels has proven, as he has done before, that he knows things about this city. He knows things about us. And he is able to cause us considerable problems. No other city, no other province seems to have the problem I have. But I dare not go against him.
I think, it is my understanding that somehow Burroughs fits in this picture somehow, and I don't know why.
Burroughs
I've
doesn't
been a-
fit in with us. He doesn't fit in with Goebbels. It's just something to do with these Templars. They're a problem for everybody.
Well, I want to know what the problem is, and I like to get to the root of problems. And if the Templars are a problem, I want to know why.
It's not your city. Why? Why is this important to you? You're putting your nose into somebody else's business. You've already been warned about this. You are a guest here. You are tolerated here at best. What has this got to do with you? Go back to Nordland, find your own Sigmarite problems, and deal with them. There's something you're not telling us, and that's what Goebbels going to want to know. I'm going to have to go back based on this early conversation, unless you come clean and tell him. Wouldn't really answer. He wants to stick his nose into other people's problems, and then he's going to come knocking, and he is not the friendly guy. I am. And that's not because I like you. I have no feelings towards you whatsoever. That's because of the second conversation we're going to have later on that will highlight that. And even then, are you just a problem to be removed?
No, I don't think I am. I'm glad you showed your hand. For a while, I was thinking of how I could make a friend in the city, expand my own empire.
You sit across the table from me and talk about expanding your empire into my city.
No, not into your city. I want to expand my wares, make some more coin.
That's the second conversation, which we're not going to have unless you come clean. I'm not a stupid man. I didn't rise to my position by accident either. Why are you here?
Like I said, I was here to meet an old friend.
Like, you're lying.
I thought Burroughs was a Talite. I thought I'd pay him a visit. And I'm being told he's a witch.
Burroughs has lived his entire life inside the city one way or another. He's not an old friend. Stop lying.
What do you want to know?
Why
If I
are you
tell you
getting involved?
Does it matter?
Cause it matters. This is not your city and you're causing my business problems. Because you're talking and asking questions of people that's getting Goebbels fired up, and then he's putting a light on me.
Okay, well, tell him that I'm no longer interested. I'll stop asking questions and I'll slip away into the darkness.
Very dramatic. Do you want to get a job in theatre?
You know, perhaps one day.
Oh, Nordlanders! Seriously, I wonder if it's worse because you're a Norseman.
I don't get it.
Of course you wouldn't. Right, I'll tell Goebbels that you've been warned and you're going to stop putting your nose where it doesn't belong, and leave at some point, right? Head
Just
north.
tell him it's a stupid, curious nature of the Nordlander who came to pay a visit to a Talite like himself, and it's my nature to just ask stupid questions. I just wanted to know a bit more about the man. A witch? What does that mean? So, asked around. No harm done.
Maybe
No
you should
one.
have just knocked on the barracks and asked. Go and talk to Hauser. He likes to talk a lot. He'd probably give you all the information you want. Did anybody hear that? It was like a laugh, like a snort.
Okay,
Are we done?
I've been warned.
You're not going to get another warning.
Okay.
You piss him off again, he's just going to say remove, or he'll do it himself. Remember, this is not your town and city. Nobody is loyal to you here. You will not see it coming, and when it does come, it's going to be so overwhelming that you will not escape, because he doesn't do things by halves. He won't just send a guy in the night, he'll send 50. He'll burn the house and the village and the town around you down. He doesn't take chances. He will wipe you out, and he'll send people north to cause problems for you as well. You will not survive what's coming if you don't stick to your word and get the hell out of this. You don't have to leave the city. Get your trade up and running. He knows that we potentially have some business. But stop looking into things that have got nothing to do with you.
Okay.
Right.
I understand.
Okay. Second. You haven't heard of the Underworld Lords. The Underlords. No. The Underlords. In all the established cities where there are people like us, we have come together and there's one that rules over all. He's a Nuln. Nordland does not have an Underlord, but because you have come to be known, you will be invited to join. This will allow for you to trade freely across the Empire. All business will be paid equally amongst the lords. The coin increase will be exponential. We are involved in trade across the known world. Estalia, Tilia, even as far as Kemri. You will be able to take part in all this, but in doing so, you will also be expected to facilitate the other lords' work. It might be the movement of prescribed goods or people. Your territory will have an open border like theirs will to you. They will have access to your ships, but you will have access to their barges and warehouses. You'll be one of the 9 families. The Skalson family. And though powerful, you will be part of a larger whole. You are invited. I tell you now, you have no choice in the matter. But you can negotiate something in your favour. You will join, or somebody in the north will join, whether you like it or not, because you will be removed if you don't. That is not the question. But what you can and will do, based on your position of power, is potentially you will be able to get you will negotiate for your city, your province, and you will get a piece of the pie that you're able to negotiate with. You bring a large army, a very stabilised province, so you will have power. It's not like your Stirland, for example, where you've got 3 men and a pig. But I'll tell you now, as a friend, a neighbour, you don't get to say no. This organisation is happening. Now, nobody else knows about this, not even my own people. He looks at Leaf for a moment. Can your man be trusted? I don't like anyone that's local that I don't recognise his face.
I can vouch for him.
So be it. At some point you're going to be invited to Nuln. I highly recommend you take up on that invitation. And I also recommend that you build yourself up something that can invite visitors in the north when you do return. Those little pig huts are just a little bit underclassy. I mean, let's be honest, Salzenmund, we've got sewers that are better appointed. And that's your capital. No wonder your Graf spends all his time in Garaborg. The North's a bit of a shithole. And I know you got invaded by the Norse. You know, we've all got problems.
Of course we do. So who sits on top of the throne then?
Well, you'll find out one way or another, won't you?
You don't know?
Not for me to say. Not until you've been formally invited.
Okay.
This is me being a friend, giving you fair warning. Perhaps you're not liking this, perhaps you're not interested in being forced to join an organisation, and you want to build up your fortifications and be prepared for a war. You know, your choice.
Too old for a war.
Yeah, yet you traipse south into my city and cause problems. You're quite spry for an old man. I hope I'm half as youthful when I get to your age.
You won't be.
Cheers, Arnung.
I just like to say how things are. Do you want me to lie?
Hardly, but being an arsehole about it, you know, maybe you should sort of like try and come into this century. You know, be a bit more polite. I'm not saying put on a wig, powder your face. You know, not everyone's like Ludwig.
I've been blessed by the gods.
Of course you have. Right, well I'm done. What do you want from me? Come on.
Nothing. Right now.
Alright. Well, have a good day. Enjoy the coffee. Oh, I didn't give you any. Pushes his cup across. Gets up. It looks even smaller in your hand! Right, we're off. Pick yourself something off the wall. The spiced ham's quite nice. Oh, by the way, where are you staying now?
Goose.
I'll find out. No, you're not.
We're not. Could you recommend anywhere?
I'd recommend the Goose. It's a good place.
I don't like the Goose because the last time we were there, the fucking priests tried to kill us.
Only in Northland. Only in Nordland. Well, there's the Grass Repos. It's a nice hostelry. You got the Prospect. They're both in the good, well established. What happened to your clothes? Why are you dressed like a steelworker?
What's wrong with it?
You look like a tramp. What do you mean, what's wrong with it? You turned up in some nice clothing, yes, a bit dated, but you are from the north. Now, you look like you should be clearing out your stables.
I might like to clear out stables.
Oh, you're back to that, aren't you? You literally, your brain just goes into... Ugh! That's the Norseman part of it, isn't it? Honestly, your conversation is like head-butting a spike. You're just in there. Just, oh! You know, it's one of those moments where you stand up too quick in a low roof and bang your head. That's what it's like talking to you, honestly. Right in there.
But don't stand up too quick.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to go off and punch somebody. See you later. I'm out. He gets up. Lads, looks at Lee for a moment as he walks past, shakes his head. I don't know how you can put up with that ox. He's freaking brain dead, and walks off through the cellar. You can see Hans is standing there looking very awkward for a big guy. You just see him walk up the stairs out the cellar. You can hear him muttering all along, bloody Norseman. Nordlanders, thick as two planks. I'd better conversation with a squealing pig. and his voice disappears as you two are by that table.
Good talk.
Right, at least it's over.
Okay. At least I know where we stand.
Leaf, you can't help but think to yourself, he has no idea what just happened there.
I know what happened. Arnung's blissfully unaware.
You're sitting there going, why does nobody like me?
Oh. I'm a likable guy.
All the claws rubbing off on you.
Yeah, we just don't get each other's humour.
So we're eating here then.
Just grab something off the wall.
Literally cow leg.
Renyir steals a painting.
He's off with Eva's dresses.
I stole the bead.
There is no sign of Renyir, by the way.
Oh, okay. Right. So, Leaf,
Mm-hmm.
this complicates things.
I told you you wait and watched. I mean, how low key can we be? They know everything already. Well, they know that you're asking around. You know, they know you're interested in Burroughs. You know you're interested in the Barracks. I mean, it's already a bit messy.
I can't be seen out there again. Asking questions. Especially if it... Let's have this chat somewhere else. Let's stand up.
Okay. Are you heading out?
Stand up too quick.
Yes! I told you!
What he means. I know I feel it.
Are you going out through the kitchen door or are you going back down into the cellar? There is a back door out here, no doubt, you just can't see it.
You got back through the cellar, I think.
Yeah.
We came, I think.
Okay. It wasn't Hans that you were staring at, it was obviously Carl looking awkward in the kitchen doorway. You pass Carl, who has the decency to not look you in the eyes. Opens the cage door and you head back downstairs into the cellar, where you see Hans at the other end, standing by the exit. The delivery has been made and everything has been stored away and they're just waiting for you to leave. Obviously Oberlander and his two guards have left just prior to you. And you noted that the man that was referred to as Ludwig had left in this direction as well. You find yourself onto the street where...
Hang on.
Whoop.
I want to turn to Hans.
Yep.
Hans, who's your supplier? Who sells your food and drink?
We've got a mix. We use some of the ales comes from Dragon Ales, you know, the good stuff.
Yeah.
Fresh produce. That'll be Kogel. We have some of the haulage stuff comes in.
Is
through...
Kogel stuff good, is it?
Yeah, well, he's it's based on reputation, to be honest. A lot of established businesses have been using him for a while now. Last couple of years, he's a good price and good quality, and he normally, you know, it's a family-run business.
Who uses them, like?
Well, we pay through the nose, but that's because Eva can charge that. Basically, you know, some of the larger establishments, you know, the big places, people with a bit of coin. You're guaranteed to get fresh veg. You know, the meat is never actually off. A lot of these other places you can get like 2 or 3 day old meat, you know, and it could be a little bit weird.
Do you supply the goose?
I wouldn't know.
No.
Eva might.
Where's Eva?
She'll be on the main floor, no doubt, with some of the lasses preparing them for the night.
I'm going to have a word with her.
Right, okay. You go back down. What are you doing, Arnung?
Let's wait here.
Okay. You head back up to the gate. It's this time it's actually open, and you see Carl at the top, looking down. Looks a little bit sort of like, "Huh?" Not expecting you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you forget something?
Which way is Eva?
Why?
I want to have a word with her.
About?
Supplies.
Well, she doesn't like supplies, so if you could just tell me what it is.
I want to know who supplies you and who to get need some advice on it as to kind of like which supply to use. I've heard
Supplies!
Google's good.
Supplies.
Yeah, not surprise.
Sorry. Yeah, come on me.
Surprise! I don't like surprises. No, man, supplies. Oh, supplies.
Yeah, you walk through the kitchen and
Surprise.
into the main floor. You can hear somebody playing on a piano and some kind of wind instrument. The main stage has some scantily clad women of a particularly distracting shape in full dance routine. Eva stands at the front, overseeing them, sort of like one arm across her midriff, the other one resting. She's got a long stick handle there with a rolled cigarette. She looks over as Carl approaches. He is one of the friends. I understand. I saw him. It's all right, Carl. You are?
I'm Leaf. I wanted to ask you some advice, really. I heard you take care of kind of like ordering the supplies for the place.
Well, I don't.
But you know.
Well, of course,
who
I'm the one that
deals with it, right? I've heard Kogel's good.
Kogel, yes. Good produce, good meat imports. Takes a personal interest in making sure that it's good, yes, and a good price.
Do you know who supplies the goose?
Goose. Well, yeah, Kogel will definitely be one of the suppliers,
Right.
without a shadow of a doubt, because, well, yes, knowing
I'm
there.
I'm looking for the decent stuff, like the Barracks or something like that. Someone like that who would get from there. I want the really top end gear. Would it be that still be Kogel? Yeah.
Yes, Manuel Kogel, definitely.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
She's where is he? He's in the Altmarkt. He's also got a warehouse in the Goldmund district. You should look for him there. Other than him, so he gets his supplies in. He makes sure that the fresh are there. He supplies such as the boat, the goose, various of the higher level places, establishments.
Mm-hmm.
Von Hoff, sorry. Von Hoff supplies most of the alcohol, and of course there was also Sperber. He'll supply some of the more exotic meats. So it really just depends on what you do. Are you thinking of opening an establishment? I hope it's not going to be a cabaret bar. Don't need any more competition.
I mean, I'm looking to move in that area at least.
Then I should have told you not to go to Hogel. In fact, you should go to Oppenheim.
Why?
Because, my dear friend, you've just said you're going to be competition.
Good for you. No. An inn.
Oh, hostelry.
A guest house, yeah. Not a
guest
pub.
house. Well, you might find that Kogel is a little bit above your price bracket. I mean, most hostels that I know of, they try to earn a coin by giving the bare minimum. There's obviously middle quality, but to establish yourself at the same level.
Something kind of like I want something. I'm seeing these people wandering around, and something's going on. There's a higher class of people in the area recently. I mean, ever since these kind of like these Templars turned up, I'm thinking kind of like if they're staying, they're going to have visitors, and I'm going to look at muscling in on that area and putting something up there for the top boys, It's a thought at the moment. It's not a guaranteed thing. It's just something that's playing through my head, I think it might be worth putting something close by, and if we can have kind of like a similar kind of, exactly the same supplier as anyone visiting there or anything like that, then,
Then Kugel for your fresh produce and your more common meats, your chicken, pork, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Use Sperber for the more exotic, fowl goose harvest. Goose will use that Sperber for their main meal, and Von Hoff for your quality alcohol. You don't want to be giving them mead and honeyed wine. They're not village bumpkins from the north. But if you're interested in a investor, perhaps, if the right business idea, once you've looked at premises, the scale of your work, if you are looking at an early investor to help offset any risk to yourself, I'm interested in expanding. It has a good idea. I like the idea behind it, and you're all right. If the crown is sending over these brutes, then with them generally you will find a followers. And yes, of course.
Moneyed individuals is what I'm looking for.
Well, if we can get the damn knights out of their hovel hole, then they've got money, and if they have money and mistresses, a place to. Yes, I like that.
Yeah.
Consider me a potential investor.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for your advice. And would you be interested in kind of possibly splitting your time between there and there and being the face of the business?
I would have to be here at evening, because that is when we work.
I'm talking about the occasional visit, and kind of like a little bit of entertaining, kind of like when you have time. I'm not particularly good or interested in that, to be honest. I just want to throw some money at something and make more.
I can help you establish the business. I can help you with your books. I can introduce you to the people within the city that are best kept, lubricated. We can also involve some of the higher level guests when we first open to attract more expensive tenure. And I could possibly do evening and afternoon evenings, 5 till say 8 o'clock.
Yeah, that would be great.
Because I need to be here from 10, but I need to make sure that everything's prepared. I have that personal touch. Yes, I would be interested. We could discuss.
Well, I'm thinking about a property with a view of the park, adjacent to the barracks, enough distance from the goose to stand out.
Well, the goose wouldn't be a competitor. I mean, apart from 4 private rooms, they are literally just a place for the merchants. I don't
want them wandering from the goose into my place. So you know what I mean?
Well, you wouldn't.
Trying to keep it a little bit exclusive,
Well, that's in the craftsman. You're obviously. I know that you have a Midland accent, but you must not know the city. You're looking at the Freeburg, if you want to see the Great Park and the barracks, because you would not want to be in the Ulrichsmund. The tax alone for being anywhere near the temple it's ridiculous. But if we're looking at the south of the Freeburg, if there is any properties, organise some visits and send word to be here, and I will make sure that I avail myself of any visits. And if I like what I see with the professional level that you might bring to organising this, then I can get the papers drawn up to put us together in a partnership.
Excellent.
Are you representing that brute Arnung?
No.
Yourself. Would I need to be concerned with Arnung's presence in your life?
No, not really. I mean, he's here doing his thing. I'm just kind of like, I've just been hired as a kind of like a guide around the town,
So this is a separate thing that he'll have. Bye.
I've said too much.
He just exploded.
Stupid internet.
Right, I'm going to stick you down. God damn it! Right.
Arnung didn't like where that conversation was going. Get off.
I'm setting up this business venture all on my own. Arnung, can I borrow some money?
No. Bear with us. There we go. Save again. That's better. Right. What the hell was I saying? You're going on your own. Awesome. High five. Just keep in touch. I'll be interested in taking this further. Absolutely,
Cool.
especially in the Freeburg.
All right, I'll make my way back to Arnung.
Carl, if you could let our friend out to the front door, who doesn't need to traipse himself all the way through that dank, horrible cellar. As
Well,
cellars
you know-
go, by the way, that was literally top class. You know, you've slept in hotels that have been lower quality than her cellar. He walks you to the front door, which is obviously visible. You've been in it before. Big double wooden doors. I mean, the place is extravagantly appointed. It's not over the top. It's not crass. It is just quality. And she just she nods politely to you. A slight closing of the eyes, a fluttering of the eyelids, and you make your way down through the main floor past the very well large established bar with its huge back shelf of drinks. Several staff members moving around the place, doing clean up, picking up glass, sweeping the floor. You hear the girls and the start dancing the piano and the wind instrument pick up again. Carl pulls back the big slotted lock and opens the door for you, and you step out into the well sunlit street. To your right, you can see the opening into the cellar.
All right, so Arnung's there.
Nope.
Brilliant.
It's like hands just appeared.
So I can't see Arnung anywhere.
No.
Damn it.
The last time you saw me was at the bottom of the stairs inside the cellar.
Or is he?
Yeah.
I thought. Oh no, because you said right. Okay, yeah, I'll head back into the cell and give him a shout.
You stand at the top of the cellar, you can see him stand there
Where is
awkwardly.
he? Oh, right.
Literally frozen.
You just sort of stand there, and Han just sort of stand there, and they're both like...
Right. Well, I'll beckon him over, and we'll head up to the Altmark then.
You're looking into the cellar, waiting for Leaf, when a voice comes from behind you. Oi! Numbnuts!
Now!
You see Arnung looking down. Your mind literally explodes with the possibilities. He must be a wizard, because you saw him go through that door, and yet he's above you.
Is this Leaf?
Yeah. No, he's asking you. Sorry, go on. Is that
Yeah.
you, Leaf? What happened
on,
to my friend? You've left this mortal coil?
Oh
I'm at the
no!
top of the stairs.
I'm not dead. I'm on the street, you pelican.
Don't enter Mold's realm. What are you doing up there?
Sorry, what?
What are you doing up there?
What was I doing up there? What am I doing up here?
What are you doing up there?
I'm waiting for you.
What, to come up there?
Yeah,
Why?
because we're going to the Altmark.
Oh,
Sorry, the Newmark.
okay.
Got some.
So, if you're looking for Kogel, that was confirmed as he's in the Altmarkt. And he has
It was the Altmark, yeah.
so
Sorry.
he's in the Altmarkt, and he's got a warehouse in the Goldman district.
Yeah, well, we'll head for the warehouse. I think is probably the best place to go.
Okay, so I'll follow up.
You walk up the stairs. There is still no sign of Renyir. No doubt by now he's having his insides cut open and he's being sacrificed to something dark.
Not to worry, we'll get another one.
Spendable.
So you can walk down the street itself to the Newmarkt and continue on into the Altmarkt. You're basically heading in a southeasterly direction, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you wander off. It's still, just you'd heard the bell toll from the Eternal Temple, giving off the 12 bells. Only those that can count are even aware of what that means. Lucky enough, you did and can. So you're heading southeast. You head through the Newmarkt, which is a massive bustle. There is literally just the crowds are staggering, and the going is slow. A lot of nudging, stepping to one side for carriages, and avoiding huge piles of steaming surprises. Eventually getting close to the East Gate, you continue on into the Old Market itself. The buildings become even more dilapidated. It is the old quarter. It is a place of ill repute, but also of business. You don't want to be here at night, but during the day it's fairly safe, and it is just going about an hour after midday. All around you, the smells and sights of a bustling market town, city. The market in a city are everywhere. You can, mixed in with the odorous smell of unwashed bodies is the smell of vegetables, of cooking meats. There are places that are cooking up little trays for people to walk around eating, while all around there's clothes being sold, armor, weapons, mainly foodstuffs. But ultimately, the crowd is pretty much the same quality, though you do keep an eye on your purse.
So from what you're telling me, Leaf, I mean, this is some great work. You found out some information. You perhaps one of these three suppliers that you've mentioned is, or all three could supply directly to the barracks.
That's the plan. Be useful information either way. I mean, we might have a problem with the delivery. I don't know when it happens, but I mean, any information is better than no information at this point. And we might get lucky.
I don't like the city. In fact, the longer that I'm here, I'm absolutely fucking hating the city. I am clearly too old for this shit. I don't like the way people talk to me. It's like people know who I am, but just don't give a fuck anymore. And I don't like that. Things worked differently back then. Things worked differently back then, Leaf. I'm telling you, Fordell and I were here. We would have made this our place. And I know for a fact Fordell wouldn't have taken his shit. I mean, the second Oberlander opened his mouth, I think Fordell would have been straight across, throwing tables, chairs, legs of cows, whatever.
Are the cows still attached?
If they were attached, it wouldn't stop them. I'm telling you that now, for a fact. I've seen him throw many cows. Fordell was up for anything, I'll tell you that. Good old Fordell.
Well, the way it is, Arnung, is, I mean, if you were here representing yourself, I'm sure it would be a very different story. However, we're on a mission.
Yeah,
so what?
You see,
we'll
that's
have
the
to eat a
problem.
little shit.
This is
You know
why
what I mean?
I'm having a problem, Leaf.
I understand. I understand your perspective. On a mission, so you're holding your tongue and you're not ripping the heads off. You're doing what you're supposed to do. It's not pleasant, especially for someone as established as you. It's insulting.
What's all this carry on now? This new bollocks with no.
Oh well,
I don't have time for that.
That's just the consolidation of power. It happens every time. Big fish eat little fish. Big fish get fat, die off. Young come up. Everything splinters up because they won't agree, and then they get a little bit older and think they can do it again, so they try to consolidate that power again, and then they get old and fat and lazy, and the young come up and they kick their asses, and that's life, innit? Every time.
You see, I used to be a big fish.
You still are.
A week ago I was very big until I was reminded by
another big fish, a bigger fish.
A big fish.
Uh-huh.
Who just appeared onto the shores of Nordland. Like it was like nothing had changed. And he reminded me how small of a fish we are.
Which is why you're not throwing your fists at every opportunity. I think it's all right, you know. I think you're doing fine. I can understand your frustration, but I wouldn't let it get you.
You can understand. That's good.
They're deliberately trying to kind of like get to you. They're trying to get a reaction, trying to get you in a vulnerable position and with a reason to deal with you. But you've been invited to this thing now. Take both hands and pull. Why do you give a shit? It's just fucking money and power at the end of the day. It's not something we need to concern ourselves about.
Mhm.
You know what we concern ourselves about. The rest of it's just fucking whatever. It's what we do.
Perhaps you're right, Leaf.
I wouldn't
I like
mess
you.
with the
I
Oberlander
like
though.
you, Leaf. I really do. You have a calming presence.
I mean, that little dwarf Theodore.
Who?
You know, the little toothless little shite that was giving you grief earlier.
Oh.
You know, he's more kind of like I mean, he'll fuck up eventually. You can always hold a grudge. I wouldn't hold a grudge about Oberlander though. He's got a boot on his neck, as he says. You know, he can't do anything. He is literally acting on orders, and he can't do shit. But on the other hand, he offers you kind of like wealth, power, friendship, a way to expand your influence, and a better way to collect information. So I would take with both hands. It's a good offer. And then you'll get fat and rich and lazy, and somebody will come and take it off you. But that's okay too. It's a way of life and nature, isn't it? You can come through and kick your head in. That's the shot.
I'm not ready to die yet.
But eventually you'll slow. That is the natural order of things. The young should always take over eventually, you know, when they're strong enough, when they're clever enough. And at that point, I'm sure you wouldn't care and mind. Ready to hand it over, you know.
Mhm.
You got any sons?
I have.
Well, there you
Two.
go. You know what I mean? Once they get kind of like ambitious and hungry, you'll be proud of what they do. So,
Mm.
but they're rude and stupid and always kind of like insult the elders. And then, you know, when they get their spanking, which they will, they'll
But
kind
do I
of,
want this world for them? I don't
So-
think I do.
you know what?
I don't think I want this world. To build this world for them. So they have to murder, kill their way to the
Well-
position of power, just like I did.
You don't have to do that.
I think you do.
Well, I suppose you do, but still, you could connive your way to the top too. You know what I mean?
Well, I suppose you do.
Well, let's face it, right? Violence solves everything.
It does.
It's the ultimate win. You can talk and talk as much as you want, but if you chop someone's fucking head off, they're not really bothered about it anymore. You won, they're gone, easy peasy. So yeah, violence works. Talking's kind of just noise at the end of the day. We're men of action.
We are men of action. Speaking of which,
And it's hard because Framling likes to do the talky thing, and I don't know what the fuck he wants. So
I
I'll
know
do
what-
what I can and help. And
Framling does a lot of talking, and a lot of the time he keeps a lot of it to himself. A lot of it is just
so
trusting.
trusting.
What?
You're as confused as I am at this point as to what he wants. Because I don't know what he wants. I mean, I kind of understand.
If I'm honest,
he's tracking big, but
I've
you know,
never
it's not
really.
my-
I don't ask questions.
Yeah, I
Just do
get that. I'm a bit of the same, you know. He has the deal. Okay, we'll act on that then. But I wouldn't worry too much about any of this shit that's going on in the town. We'll either complete our mission or we'll fail our mission. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm not going to be too worried about the rest of it. And I might get a new pub out of it. And she was pretty.
Not my cup of tea.
I thought it was coffee.
what was what. Speaking of which, Leaf, I just realised something.
And we'll leave it there. Was that my cue? I don't. What the shit just happened?
I was just staring off into the distance.
Oh, right, sorry.
I said, it dawned
It
on
was the 1,000-yard stare, right?
God. Is that my cue? Did you actually just check your watches? Shit, is that my cue?
What? Oh crap! It's midnight, and that's it. Ooh, what was I going to say? I have no idea. I just needed to end it. Right, yeah. Speaking of which, what's he looking at?
More coffee.
As much of a mystery as Framling is, I know what he is. I know what he's about. I don't know anything about you, Leaf. What the fuck are you?
I'm like at a lower level. I mean, there's not really much about me. I mean, I operate in the town much like you operate in the north.
What's your story?
What's my story?
What's the story of one brother to another?
Recruited when I was young, singled out for training, trained, indoctrinated, and set loose into the world as we are to report back. Nothing really. I mean, the rest, all of this stuff is, growing up in a city kind of like as this, you end up in kind of like company and you make plays. I mean, obviously, kind of like we make our own way while being faithful to what we do.
Report back. You said report back.
Yeah, of course.
You still report back?
Always, yeah.
So
that's my function in this town, is to report to the Brotherhood.
So the Brotherhood still exists?
Yeah. Of course.
Fuck me sideways.
Do you not report back?
No.
So what is your function if you have you quit the Brotherhood and then suddenly being pulled back into the Brotherhood?
Pretty much.
All right. Okay. Well, I can understand why you're frustrated then.
I thought they were all gone. I was surprised when I met you.
Oh. Well, I wouldn't say there was a lot of us, but still doing me thing.
The temple. It's still there.
Yeah, it's a couple of days away.
That's good to know. How many of us are there? How many men?
Let me just check me roster.
He's been subbed.
So, I don't know how many of the Brotherhood exist. I only know my circumstances. So I recognize you by your weapon, you recognize me by my weapon, and that's how it goes. We'll operate generally alone, each. And if we need help, I'm sure we can call for help, but it's not something that we normally do either. I'd like to handle.
What are you reporting back exactly?
Anything kind of wonky, anything kind of like corrupt, not particularly kind of like, I'm not bothered about the crime and what's going on with the men of the town and all that kind of thing. But for instance, I've been reporting on the Templars, the witch burnings, me concerns about it. That kind of thing is what I generally keep an eye on. Any void worshipping, anything kind of like unnatural is my concern. The rest of it is all my business, basically. What money I make is mine. If they need help, they'll get help, but otherwise this is my cover.
I understand. Now it's our job to flush out the threat to the Empire, and that's what we Brotherhood do.
Well, there's clearly something running around in the sewers, isn't there?
Uh-huh.
And that was unnatural. I think we found what we're looking for. I'm just not sure how to best deal with it. I'm sure Framling is having some thoughts. But he's better placed and better equipped to deal with anything like that than we are, I mean, kind of he's making us feel a bit weak. I've always felt quite strong, and capable of anything. But then he shows up and kind of makes me pale a bit,
I know the feeling, but Framling would agree that he needs us just as much as we need him. We have a part to play in this.
Well, you know him better than I do. I have no idea of his capabilities. I'm just a bit intimidated right now, Never expected to see him. Never expected to even hear about him, actually.
Well, I've sworn to protect him. That's what I'll do.
Agreed. So we'll complete the mission, get some information, try not to fuck up.
It's a good plan, Leaf. A damn good plan. No more fuck-ups.
And if we do...
Meanwhile, Renyir's like, I'll tell you everything! I'll tell you everything!
You've done it yourself.
Shut up, you.
I'm the king of the north.
It's obvious. I'm gonna get a t-shirt made up. So we have
this is no doubt as you've been walking through the new market.
Yeah, we're walking through the old
this
market.
entire
Yeah.
conversation is as you walk. Yeah.
Obviously. So did we get a location on this? What is his name? Corgles.
Yeah, there's a warehouse he owns over there. Oh, what's going on over there?
What is it?
Someone's chucking stones or something.
What, at us?
You turn, well, you see which way he's looking, and you're in a very wide street, and you can see two men. Both of them have got lumps and scalp wounds, not too deep. You can see blood dry. They're sort of going like, Biorix testicles! Like looking around the place, and both of them have literally just like holding on to their heads. They look like bondsmen, street workers, labourers. You can't really see much because the crowd sort of just parting around them, completely ignoring them, but you get glimpses of broken crates on the floor, vegetables, and parcels obviously have fallen from them and hit the floor, and they're sort of looking around going, Ulrich! But other than that, it definitely sticks out. You were completely oblivious to it, of course.
Well, what do you make of it, Leaf? What am I looking at? Someone's throwing stones.
Isn't that one of Renyir's favourite hobbies? Throwing stones at people?
Oh, little shit. Where is he?
Start scanning the crowd.
They sort of like the thing that sticks out was just sort of looking around the street and all that. You see these guys don't pick up their produce at all. They drop crates and there's and they sort of they start heading north away from up the direction you've come from. Working their way through the crowd, sort of going. Oh. The blood it's a scalp wound. It's not deep, bleeding down their heads, but a good heavy bruised welt upon their foreheads, and they move off, leaving their produce, which is very quickly fallen upon by urchins and homeless people and anyone that sort of looks down and goes, "Woo, salad." There's a quick scuffle. There's some bloodletting, and the food vanishes.
There's Renyir up the road, by the way.
Oh.
Backing him over.
Walk over.
Where you been?
Where have
Telling
you
you
been?
guys.
Say that again?
I've been telling you guys.
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you for keeping us safe.
Well, yeah, with your chat, those two guys were following you.
Which
What
two guys?
Oh, thanks for keeping us safe. Those two guys.
What, them guys
What
with the
two guys?
boxes?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, good work, boy.
Useful. So they've just been carrying boxes around all over the place.
Yeah, if they wore military boots.
How did we not notice that?
We were too busy talking to each other about
Say,
stuff.
I wonder if they're following us. Been following us for 3 blocks.
All right.
Your urchins missed them.
So, to be clear, the Kogel has his as a shop front, as it were, in this area. But because obviously geographically, I know it's easy for you guys to get confused. His warehouse is in the merchant sector, so just south of the Ulrichsmund, but north of the Southgate. Yeah, the merchant sector over here. You're down in the southwest district of the city. It's across the city in the merchant area. That's where you were told he had his warehouse, which is where the warehouse
All right.
district
Well,
is.
we'll check the storefront anyway because the other guys are in this area as well, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
And it was mainly the drink guy I was interested in.
It was mainly the what guy?
The drinks.
Okay. All right.
Van
Well, you're walking
Hoff.
about the place.
Van Hoff.
Von.
So I'm
Von
guessing
Hoff.
he's in this close out of this area than the other. So if Kogel's around, great. If he's not around, I'd still rather kind of like beeline for the drinks guy.
Okay, well, you're walking up and down the streets. I mean, on the main road itself, there's lots of side streets in this area. Don't misunderstand the scale of this. This is a full-on, huge city, on top of this massive mountain.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, you've got. As you walk around, eventually you resort to having to ask, does anyone know where the Von Hoffs is? And you end up being directed to quite a large building. It is. Near, or thereabouts, I should say, a distillery. It's a smaller scale than the Dragon Ales, but he's obviously benefiting greatly from the cheaper rent, and it's close to the Guild of Legalists and that sort of thing around the backs of this building here, with the slightly rounded building. And you find the Von Hoff facility. It's got a normal courtyard. You can see that there are horses in open stables. Some of them have been brought forward. They've got the blinkers on. You've got the tracers in place. Typical of brewers, you've got a mix of open wagons as well as covered, timbered, strutted wagons. But otherwise, it's quite well, as you clearly see, it's a round building as opposed to the Dragon Ales square one. Inside, however, it does still have some small distilleries. But this guy is a purveyor, a merchant, buyer, and of alcohol and selling it on as opposed to a maker. But clearly, he does make something, but it's on a small scale. The rounded building, of course, is originally a storeroom and has been brought in by this guy for his alcohol business. There is crates and boxes. They're stacked remarkably high. There are at least a dozen workers going to and from. They're bringing out crates and loading them onto wagons. Wagons around. There are several different types, different higher quality, lower quality, painted. Some have the badge of Middenheim upon them. Clearly customers coming in to pick up orders, and the place is a bustling hive of activity. You see several guys, labourers, bondsmen working. You can there's a certain look about them. And you see one guy who's standing there with a slight ruffle upon his shirt and a lack of an apron and protective gloves. Clearly a person of authority, potentially the foreman, as he's moving backwards and forwards with a chalkboard around a bit of rope on his neck, shouting orders and telling people to hurry up, Alphonse, get those 2 crates over. The boat needs their shipment, you're already late. That sort of thing.
I'll head over to him then.
He's marking stuff off as he looks around, sees you approach. Are you both following?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, gentlemen, and a good Montag to you in this glorious city of Ulrich.
Hello there. Do you deliver in the area of the barracks?
We deliver everywhere in this city.
Everywhere in the city. I'm looking at setting up a business adjacent to the barracks. And looking to kind of like get similar or the same kind of supplier as the barracks on the same day. I intend on kind of like using kind of like visitors to the barracks and providing kind of like guest services and food, and I'd like to be as close as possible to what they would receive inside.
Well, the barracks is it's obviously a large customer, and there are several businesses that supply to them. We supply some of the finer alcohol to the barracks itself, though it would be great if we could get further into the palace.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, are they buying kind of the top quality gear?
No, that's just obviously I know the knights, but they like to buy in quantity as well. So we do supply a lot of Bretonnian wines of the lower level. They wouldn't know what it was. Maybe when they're back home in their castles and forts, they might know what quality is, but you can stick anything on them. And, supply them pig swill. I didn't say that.
and do they get like daily deliveries of this stuff, or is it kind of like a weekly, monthly?
Oh, no. Every couple of days, they are ferocious drinkers. When there's a couple of hundred of you, you can imagine we supply them a small percentage, but nowhere near the amount taken. You have to go to many suppliers. In fact, you could probably go to the Gelman to find out some of their private stores. But you've got the lower rankers mainly. They've got a standing order.
With you?
Hmm.
Do they buy off? Do they buy off the dragon as well?
Well, no doubt. Who doesn't buy from the dragon, bastards?
All right. And once I've got this business set up, I'll give you a shout and we'll arrange some business. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yes, we're always here, open 7 days a week.
And so you can get kind of like anything rare, kind of fancy stuff as well.
It depends on what sort of cost you're looking at. We don't sort of, we're not merchants involved in the highest quality found in the darkest pillars of some fallen household.
What about the highest quality in town?
We could compete, yes.
That's great.
We've got some Tillian red, Bretonnian red. We can provide, but of course it's all at cost.
Well,
I mean, the Dragon Ales, they're the only distillery in here, so they've got an advantage for their bulk swill.
Well, I'll thank you for your time.
Of course. And you are, sir?
I'm Leaf.
Nice to meet you, Leaf. My name is Per Petzold. Come and ask, and I could deal with all of your wants and needs and orders.
Excellent. I'll leave.
Goodbye, old friend.
I want to head to the Dragon Brewery.
That's across the city, yeah?
Yeah.
You haven't looked into Kogel. You haven't looked into anywhere else. You just
They're all just supplying. They're getting their stuff from all over the place. But I mean, I've got control over the brewery there, so
yeah, well, you
that would
definitely
be, and I've got access to the ledgers, so
do. Hmm.
that's my best spot. You know, I'll find out exactly when stuff's going in there, and I've got its source. So
By the way, this is him explaining this to you, Arnung, because he's not just talking to the air.
yeah,
There's
Well,
no
I
third
know.
person here.
No,
Yeah.
no, I know. He's talking out. Yeah.
He wasn't. He was talking to you in game.
No, I know.
I know.
I
Go on.
know.
so if we head there, we're exposed. We're not exposed. We've got a very, very good cover story because I probably am going to open this place. Is that low key enough for you?
I like the idea of opening an establishment.
I mean, even if this all doesn't pan out perfectly for us, I'm still going to be here unless I'm dead, and that does seem like a bit of a money spinner if they're here to stay, you know. So,
Plus,
Oh.
we have a reason to stay.
well, you know, there's money to be made. It's always
Yeah.
nice to have it.
We have our cover story.
So if we head back to the brewery, I'll have a look through the ledgers, see when they're getting the deliveries, and we can fuck with one of those. I fancy giving them all the shits. Like really bad shits.
Manbane works wonders.
Okay. Well, basically, you're getting takes, like I said, it's about an hour and a half to work your way across back to the Dragon Ales brewery. It's getting close to late afternoon. It's closing towards evening. It's still high spring, so you've got plenty of hours of daylight left.
Yeah, we'll get a move on and get the
Leaf,
brewery. Yeah.
I'm thinking whatever you're planning, I think we're going to need something a little bit stronger.
Well, yeah, but what we need is ideally is something on a slow burn. That'll kind of like, yeah, I say I'm not interested in killing a bunch of innocents who have no real involvement with this. These are still men of the church until found otherwise. We'll have to assume that the vast majority of the people inside of that temple or that them barracks are innocent. Yes, if they're all a bunch of bloody murderous bastards, then we don't really worry about it. But I'd rather just take them out of commission until we could confirm. Now, I can mix kind of like something that would make them very, very sick, as well as a very strong sedative, and make them very ineffective en masse.
Something's troubling me.
Hmm.
He said hundreds.
Right. It's a barracks.
Now, that building can't hold hundreds. It's not big enough. Something's off.
Maybe it was just a slip of the tongue.
I think we need to be very sure. We can't just leave this to a slip of the tongue. We need to know what we're dealing with. I'm not going in there if there are hundreds.
Well, I mean, I did offer that we could probably sneak in through the basement, but you guys weren't really feeling that one, so this is the alternative, you know? I mean, we can still fall back on that as kind of like plan B.
No, there's no reason why we can't go through the basement, but if we are to enter, I need to know what we're dealing with. How many we're dealing with
I
exactly.
absolutely agree. I mean, we need more information. But without getting in there and getting seen for ourselves, how we're going to get that information? I mean, we've got people watching the front, trying to kind of like map what's the ins and outs of the place. I'm sure that information will come eventually, but hundreds? I mean, what could he mean by that? If it's not big enough to hold hundreds, then what's he talking about? What could he be talking about? I can't see anything.
Perhaps you should pick his brains. Use that wonderful brain of yours.
Well, you could have said this before we left. Lee.
It just dawned on me now, Leaf. My old mind isn't what it was once. Actually, to be fair, it never was that sharp.
I suppose we're going to head back to where we started then and have a quick word with him. Let the traipse begin. An hour and a half, was it?
Well, that would have. That's how long you would estimated to take that long, but it only took you a good sort of 15, 20 minutes before you got to the stage you walked back. So Per, Herr Petzold, is still working away in the centre of the courtyard and directing. You can see it's still just as busy as it was 40 minutes ago. 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back. He sees you coming. He's like,
Hello. Hello
Leaf.
again. Just trying to clarify something because it's got my friend kind of confused. Did you say that there's hundreds in the barracks?
Well, the drinkers. I mean, there's several hundred, but in the entire area, when you consider all the servants that live there, all the marshal. There's several hundred people there drinking various different qualities. The main level of alcohol, our main supply though, is the sort of low end, and that's for the couple of hundred of the Midden Guard. Then you've got some of the City Watch, the Midland, the militia.
No, I'm talking about the Templar barracks.
The Templar barracks?
Yeah, the Sigma Rite Templars.
Oh, them? No,
witch hunter dudes.
No. We supplied to the Midden Palace, the Square Marshals. No, we don't supply to them. No.
What?
No. No, we wouldn't touch that one. Thank Ulrich. That's it. I don't even think they drink.
Well, that's what I thought, but I've heard that the drinkers. I mean, the idea is obviously that it looks. I've heard that he had to stay.
Right. No.
And obviously, you're going to have expansion, kind of staff changeovers, all of that kind of thing. And I'm looking to set up a guest house nearby to cover them rich bastards. Do you know who supplies them? Then?
Yeah, there's only one person that has that sole contract, and that's Manuel and Olga. The Kogels. They're just 3 streets down on the left.
All right, I'll have a word with them as well. But I might be coming back for the other stuff, yeah?
Well, we still supply a much better quality.
Right, we'll check it out. And
we can be trusted.
We'll probably be doing business. I'm looking for variety and quality.
Well, so we've got the infrastructure. We've got the ability to get it there on day, every day. He has 1 wagon.
Ah, okay. And he supplies drink as well as food.
Well, he's got the
Kogel.
Well, no, he just has the sole supply. They went to him.
Right. I see. It's just one of those deals. But apparently his produce is good. I have no idea what his drink's going to be like.
Oh, his food's okay.
Yeah, all right.
His food's all right. Yeah, I can't complain about that. But his drink's swill. I wouldn't even, I wouldn't even give it a Sigma Rite. Oh wait, you know what I mean?
Well, we'll see how it goes. But it's very hard finding information about these people, and I'm just trying to make money off them.
Well, I don't blame you. I mean, we're all in it for a little bit of tin.
That's so loaded. It's ridiculous.
But the price he charges for that drink, I'm surprised that people haven't been to the Temple of Verena to find out if he's breaking some kind of the law. All
right. Well, thanks for your time again, and I'll speak to you soon.
Don't forget us. Yes, per Petzold. Don't forget me.
Indeed. So I'll leave and head down the road to Kogels.
It takes you a couple of minutes to gain sight of the storefront, and that's what this is. It is a storefront. It's you can see that it's a 2-story affair, so there's a bit of money in this. Yeah, I mean, bear in mind that this is a period where housing is at a premium, in a city where housing is a premium because it's on top of a cliff. And what you've got is a two-story building. This is a place that's obviously well established. You can see that it's been much repaired. There's a couple of coats of paint on the front, but it's still a dulling blue. Glass windows on either side, single door. Inside, you can see it's more of a grocer's. It is, against the wall there are table height, waist height. Trays full of vegetables. Then is in the centre. There's two trays, and it's a good sort of 30 feet by 20 feet, and a lot of fresh. I mean, as soon as you walk in, you just smell fresh food. At one end, you can see that there is a person standing by the counter. A woman that's seen better times, but still has a little bit of a sparkle about her. She's got a fairly well built about her. Behind her is an open doorway, no curtain or anything like that, and it moves through to the next floor. No doubt, to the next to another room. No doubt, because there's no visible stairs leading upstairs to the next floor. She smiles at you from the other end of the shop as the bell tinkles as you walk in. The glass has been much repaired. You can see it's been scrubbed clean, but there are some cracks there. You can see where it's been replaced by just over time. They've got a bit of a rattle to them when the door opens and closes. The side of the building before you go in the door is an arched doorway, quite a squat-looking double door which doesn't fill the whole entrance. They hang quite loosely on old rusted hinges, no doubt leading through to where they keep their wagon and horse. Good afternoon.
Hello, are you Olga?
I am, sir. And who are you?
Hi, Olga. I'm Leaf. I've heard. What?
Sorry, very strange name.
It's a northern name. I hear that you have the exclusive contract for the Sigmarite Templar Barracks. Is that correct?
It is. We prayed to Sigma in this place of the White Wolf for deliverance. Times were hard, and my husband donated to the temple itself. We spoke to the high priests there, and we were delivered. Praise be Sigma! Comet.
So, my understanding is that the Templars at the barracks are going to be sticking around.
Yes, they have.
Right.
They have an open-ended contract with us.
Okay, so I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I'm looking to be setting up a guest house adjacent to it.
Mm-hmm.
Something with a view of the park or something like that, something quite nice for a higher level of clientele. My guess is if they're going to be kind of staying there for a while, then there's going to be people coming in to relieve them. Different Knight Templar, and if I've got a guest house right by close, I can probably make a lot of money from those people.
Lovely idea. And, of course, dedicated to Sigma.
Of course. And the situation would be that I'd be looking to buy the same produce that they used to inside.
Fantastic. I'll get my husband.
To you.
Of course.
Excellent, thank you.
One moment. She wanders off through the back. Manuel! We have a Mr. Leaf. Well, he says that he's dedicating a home, an establishment to Sigma, and he wants to buy the same produce. Man comes around the corner, little bit older than Olga. Still has a good head of hair, but you can see the thick, heavy apron. But you also note that his hands, though obviously work as hands, have mainly recently been more stained with ink. He's got a tired look about his face, that look of somebody that's spent too much time at night over a book by candlelight. He does look tired. His shoulders are somewhat slumped. Mr. Leaf and friends. Arnung. And your child. How can I help you, sir?
I'm looking to kind of set up a guest house adjacent to the barracks to cover overspill. People coming in to relieve other kind of nights, and I'm looking to kind of have a similar kind of aesthetic. a similar kind of like menu. Do you know if they drink at all? By the way, do you supply drink?
Well, they do buy. Yes, we do. I have to pay an exorbitant amount of price, but they cover that cost because I don't supply alcohol. However, they do have.
Who are you getting your alcohol from then if you don't supply alcohol?
I'll just pick it up in the marketplace. Various guys doing a deal, nothing special. They don't ask for anything in particular, but it's very low quality. Quantity. Quantity.
All right, okay. So sacramental wines or something like that?
Yes. I've never really thought much about it. You know, they're not. It's not that they're not allowed to drink. But they're very focused on their mission.
That's where most of the profit comes in, though. You know, so I'm a little bit concerned about that one.
Well, you could supply them with food, but if you're not supplying drink to them, but you're supplying to overspill or guests, then you can definitely make more on in-house alcohol. You know, having it there on supply. We supply to 20 people.
Right. Okay. And do you do like a daily delivery of food up there? I mean, obviously, if we're close by, we'd want to be on the same kind of delivery if possible. I understand you only have one cart. So yes, rather than kind of like provide you with too much work, obviously you would like to get the food in there on the same day. Do you know, is that the same day or is it a daily delivery?
So, basically we supply, it's 2 deliveries, half and half, based on the order that Carl, did I say Carl? Kunz. That Kunz, the order that Kunz give us, we supply half on a Monday and half on a Friday to get them through the weekend.
Have you already delivered for the day, yeah? So is it the morning, afternoon?
It is in the morning, but we've been delayed. The stupid man Bino apparently didn't walk. He drove the wagon into the side of the wall and it damaged the wheel. I'm yet to find out if they've repaired it and been able to get moving.
All right, okay.
The stupid man said he had a bad night. Nightmares. I mean, he's obviously touched. Just because he had a bit of a bad night. You know, bad nightmares, laughter in the dark, idiot.
Where does he live?
Benno. Benno, he lives in the Ostwald.
Oh, okay. Okay, so if I was to kind of like set up a regular order, I'd be looking at, what was it, Mondays and when?
Mondays and Fridays.
Mondays and Fridays,
yeah, equally divided.
Yeah, that'll probably work then. I'll probably not order the drink from you.
Well, no, I don't think I'll be able to handle that sort of scope.
It just sounds like extra work for you, to be honest. If you're not a supplier, it's just you're going to have to buy it, and probably making nothing from it as well, so pointless.
Well, I mean, if you're opening an establishment, you'll make most of your coin from the room and board, and you'll get bonus from the food. I could supply you at a good rate as a fellow businessman.
Do you supply coffee?
Of course, absolutely, yes.
Because that's very popular at the moment.
It is, surprisingly so, but especially the Tillian stuff. Why do they drink it out of such small cups? I prefer to drink it out of a big cup. They are small people.
All right, well that's excellent.
Can I get your mark where you're staying? Where's your home? Your address, sir, and I can send some documentation. I've dropped my pen. Yep, that's gone. Yep, definitely gone. That's weird. Right, moving on.
I'll pop back because I'm literally in between properties at the moment. I'm obviously looking to move into the guest house if I buy it. So kind of I'm just staying at various inns at the moment and trying them out. So it's probably not going to be staying in the same place each night. Trying to get a feel for where a good place for the property would be, and I do a little bit of research. So I will pop back though and organise something. I'm looking to set it up with the girl from the what's that place called up north?
Red Moon?
Red Moon, yeah. Do you know her?
He looks in absolute disgust at the child. Shock, like.
They made me stay outside.
I should think so. Otherwise it'll be a quick journey to the temple. Yes, young man? Can't even shave, and yet going to that place of ill repute. There might as well be Tallites! Flaunting their flesh. That Eva, I'm sure that she's involved with somebody at the palace. I even think that potentially one of the palace mistresses there might be of her sister. Younger, of course. How can somebody of Eva's age look like that? It's not natural. I think she bathes in goat's milk. Everyone knows that goat's milk is good for the skin.
I thought it was cold water.
Cool. No, we're not food, we're not vegetables. We don't bathe in cold water. I mean, that could be unhealthy. Think of all the little things that live in there that would be swimming inside you, burrowing into your skin. You see those men with all their, and the women with their hooked noses and those gaunt faces with all the little dots in them? That's cold water washing, mark my words, or Sigma isn't the chosen one.
I would say that that's probably more to do with not washing at all.
Well, I don't purport to be a man of science, but I know what I know and I know what I don't know. And cold water is bad for you. It gives those little monsters that climb inside your nose and make you sneeze and dribble when your brains come out. Green and messy.
That's why you're always dunking me in the water. No.
Poor child. I've known orphanages that treat their kids better, and all they do is stuff them up chimneys. Now, on the other hand, when you go to Eva's establishment, it won't be dribbling out of your nose. I'm sorry, wife, I have to say this. You would never find me there.
But she seems to know what she's doing. I mean, she's got a successful business.
Knows her way around a man, I can tell you. And probably a woman. You know, that'll make her go blind. She's always wearing those gloves. You know what they say? Touch a similar gender, hairy hands.
I look between them.
Hairy hands? I've never heard that before.
Well, you should thank Sigma that you haven't. Why do you think the Tallites are always off in the trees? Hairy hands, hairy feet. What do you think those small people are? Children of Tallite worshippers.
What
Touching
small
the
people? The dwarves?
Now, I know that was a joke, that was a moment of jest, but none of us would take our holy Dowie brethren into ill repute. They are the strong supporters of Sigma. They help the creator of the Empire. No, I mean those other ones, with the hairy feet and the big noses. Do you know one of the emperors actually said they could all live in one place, and they called it the Moot? You know what the Moot means? Bum.
It means what?
Bum, in the old language. Well, I don't want to be too disgusting in front of my good, darling wife. It's the hole.
Ah, I see.
You know, haha, send them to the Moot. It came out of the Moot. Old sayings.
I didn't know that, actually. Well, praise Sigma, and we'll be on our way. Thank you
Praise
very
Sigma.
much.
Hail the comet!
Hail Ronald.
What?
What?
Stepping out the building. Who said that?
The Moot definitely goes like... What did he just say?
I don't know. What did he say?
Hail Ronald?
Who's Ronald?
Well, I'm glad that you don't know who Ronald is, but a bit surprised that you don't.
He's a god.
The trickster god? The thief? I'm actually quite disgusted, sir, that you would allow that child to say those words in front of God-fearing Sigmarites. He needs to be whipped.
Yeah, that is very insulting, actually. I mean, I wasn't aware of that. It's not something I'm kind of like knowledgeable about, but we'll deal with him. He'll be chastised.
I apologise, it is not my
in the
place,
name
but
of
I
Sigma.
would not. Thank you, Comet. Hail the Comet! My children, for example, if they were to say such disgusted... That's the old sign.
That's it.
If Anita or Herta would dare sprout such travesty, I'd be washing their mouth out with soda and stones and sand. They must be being made to repent. What a disgusting boy! I'm so sorry. Sorry.
Well, he's just a help, you know.
And a thief, obviously. We should cut off his hand.
Well, you should wait until he steals something, I suppose.
He must have. Worshipping Renald? It should be a prescribed cult, but it isn't. But it should be.
I don't know what that is.
Well, prescribed cult should be against the law.
Come along, Leaf. I think we should be heading out.
Well, sir, I welcome your business, and I will be able to do you some very good deals. I'm well established here, but I have to insist that you do not allow that little devil back into my shop or any of my businesses. He is not welcome.
Child. That's fine. I mean, I'm not his keeper.
Then
But if you see him and he's thieving, chop his hands off.
I'll take a belt to his
Can't be
hide, is
fair
what
to
I'll
that.
do.
And for your sake, Renyir, I hope you're a very good thief.
Munching on the apple. Nom, nom, nom.
All right, see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So we have a lot of information there, Leaf. A lot to go by.
Right, yeah, I think so. I mean, we know that if we move quickly, we can get to the cart. I can actually get there. Right, should we act so rashly and so quickly without the approval of the big boy? I mean,
Framling?
yeah, I don't know what to do now. I mean, obviously we've got some information, we've got some decent recon and a bit of knowledge. We can't act on Friday because that guy's going to be here already. So we either have to act today, if that's plan A, kind of getting something in there.
Can always help with the
Delivery. Yeah, exactly. Good Samaritans, it gives we're in, but as I say, kind of like, are we pushing too hard now? As I say, we simply don't know. Can't confirm what that there's kind of like evil in the barracks. I certainly believe so, but kind of
We have our mission, Leaf, and that is to get Burroughs.
but I
The only
suppose
way
you're
we're
right.
getting Burroughs is if we go into the barracks.
All
And
right,
the only way I'm going into the barracks is
where everyone's
not-
asleep with a bad belly.
absolutely because I'm not fighting Knights, Templars head on. So do what you need to do. Let's find. We go back. We get Framling. And we
Okay.
we
in
find
which
find the cart. You do your thing.
Yeah.
And we enter the barracks.
The cart, if you're talking about Kogel, his cart, it's here, no doubt. Not here, sorry, it'll be at the... if it's got its damaged wheel, it's going to be in the Geldmund district to the west.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we should head that way then.
What do you want to do to the cart? I might have missed
Well, assist them, get them back on their feet, and maybe have a bit of a rummage in their produce with one of me
Open
special
vials.
sauces.
Hot sauce coming through.
Okay, conscious of the time, we can do
Yeah.
that as a reported, so we'll quickly step out of game. Knowing how Framling works, that he wanted to raid said barracks at tonight past midnight,
Yeah.
I think it was. It's getting to around about 6 o'clock in the evening. You'll be wanting to head back and prepare, be there when he wakes up. No doubt you'll be wanting to wake up quite, ready to prepare. You can obviously, in the meantime, head over to there and find if it is available via the Dragon Ales and get yourself a couple of vials of whatever you're
Yeah.
after.
That was the plan. I mean, I wanted to speak to you about that. Obviously, kind of like it is part of my skill set. So I'm guessing kind of like heavy sedative,
Absolutely. Yeah, well,
slow burn is what I was describing earlier would be kind of like the best way to go ahead of it. I simply don't want to get in a situation where kind of like this food is going in and Burroughs is being fed, and then suddenly we get there and he's fucking dead. You know what I mean? Because he had lovely cabbage.
Well, that's the trouble, is you don't know how this food's going to be distributed. You don't know if this stuff gets put to the back and they're finishing Friday's food off. This could be days before they touch it. You'd have to dose the whole of the. You'd have to dose all of it.
But it's Monday.
It is. So they had a delivery on Friday.
So they've had the weekend. They've all had the kebabs and the beer and all that, and they've ate all the food, and it's Monday, and they'll be ravenous. Is what I'm gambling on.
So basically, the main thing is you're going to have to.
We'd want to hit all the produce.
You're going to have to hit the whole crate. The whole.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean that's kind of the plan. It's
So from the moment of being consumed, you don't want it to be a touch drug, because obviously the people preparing it would collapse and be found in the kitchen slumped over. So it's got to be consumed. With it being consumed, you're going to have to look at a powder, because a liquid would dissipate. Its half-life is a lot shorter. You'd have to find a powder that's fairly strong, low dose, and is not going to alter the flavour or be quite noticeable. It's not like thick white. What sort of time frame, if you are, because you are capable of mixing and preparing, what sort of release time are you looking at? So you put it on there from the moment of being consumed.
Well, they're Europeans, so they're probably going to eat dinner late.
Yep.
So let's say kind of like if they're eating around about 7, 8 o'clock, I want it to like 4 hours later. I want them writhing and piss and blood and whatever the nasty shit I can make them happen to them.
Oh, so you don't want them asleep. You want them to think that so they're going to be. You give them gastroenteritis.
Essentially, yeah, because even if kind of, it's got to be some sort of kind of like bacterial or viral. Or I would say bacterial is probably the fastest acting.
Yeah, but you can use chemical, which doesn't give a crap.
I could use chemical, but chemicals not really. We're looking at kind of like a good old mixture of shit, piss, and fucking strychnine. You know what I mean?
And that's to offset the chances of sedating the prisoners as well.
Well, I'm decommissioning them, let's say, because I mean, sedating, you're not going to be able to get that kind of effect by powder and food.
I'm
just trying to be fair.
Actually, no. Well, powder you can, and also it is conceivable that you can have an antidote. A strong skunk-like fart smell that can bring them back out.
All right. Well,
like
if we
salts.
can kind of like agree on kind of like that as a mechanic, then that's what I'd like to do.
Absolutely. I mean, I know for a fact that you can get a powdered sedative. Definitely, you can get powdered sedatives.
Yeah.
100%. Promise. Guarantee.
I mean, I'm guessing most of the veggies are boiled and roasted and all that, so we would need something like resistant all that shit. And
stick it in the bread.
Sorry?
It's the medieval period. Bread is the 50%, if not higher, percentage of all food intake.
Oh, and that's going to get consumed immediately because it's fresh. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely, we'll do that.
So stick it in the bread, stick it in the alcohol. Don't worry about the veg. The veg is going to be for the higher levels. You will look at your 10 nights. We'll sort of have a little bit of veg, but the bread, cheese, and meat. That is the mainstay. Mainly being bread. That's how they fill their stomachs, as you're well aware. Black bread, full of stones. And the rest of it is just a little bit of taste. So you can get up there.
That. Let's say we're doing that.
Yep.
As the game kind of like thing going on. So. And then we'll be prepared for kind of like that evening with Framling for next week then.
Absolutely. Well, basically very quickly so that you've got some information, you get to the warehouse, you meet Adelwyn, he's the warehouse manager. Benno and Carl are the drivers, both of which look traumatised. You can see that they live a life on the outside, a physical life, and physically they look like strong lads. However, you see that they're dragging their feet. There's a paleness underneath their weathered skin, a tiredness that's beyond a long day's work. These guys should easily handle a good day's labour. There's just something about them that just borderline sick. You know, that bloodshot eye, furtive glances. They stay away from shadows. You suspect, based on the repair, that the damage done to the wagon was probably deliberate. You know, you've been around wagons, you deliberately drove this into the... I mean, you look at the wide arch of the warehouse and go, you'd have to be drunk, blind, in a storm to ride it into the wall frame the way he did. Or an idiot. And this guy is clearly an experienced driver. And the damage is where he literally took the boss of the wheel off, so the wheel came away as he turned the corner in the entranceway. To say that Adalwyn is pissed at Benno is an understatement. But you managed to get there, concoct a story, get access to, distract them enough and get your mixture into the bread and some of it into the meat. But the bread is an absolute guarantee. Everybody eats bread. It is the main staple diet. Other than that, the Kogel warehouse is very well established, very well maintained, and there is a lot of produce in this house of all kinds. Very little as far as alcohol, but foodstuffs, there is a huge level of stock. And the wagon is well filled. And as you head to the Fandeliers, they're heading north. No doubt, they'll get, based on the fact that it's getting to the afternoon, a lot of the city merchants have moved off. They're leaving the city and they're starting to get back to the Goose and various other places to drink. The going is going to be a lot easier for them. They're going to get to the barracks quite early on, and you head your way back to Fandeliers to wait for Framling to wake up.
Cool.
Right, lads. Well, you know what? Tonight went really quick, and we actually started ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
That was amazing.
There was a lot of dialogue though.
There was.
Yeah. A lot of trouble.
You arse. What the hell's wrong with Renyir? Honestly, mate. What the hell? Did you just feel like, I haven't caused any trouble? They're trying to make friends, stay under the radar, and you say, praise Ronald in a shop.
Yeah.
That's just a dick move. There's nothing better. I'm going to talk about you behind your back. What was that? Was that just verbal diarrhea? Did you think because I haven't said anything?
No.
Well, why did you say that's not mischievous, mate? I'll get you hung.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send them back to the shop soon.
Get him fixed.
I wanted to ask a question.
You're just gonna get beaten by an angry, tired shopkeeper. Now, mate, seriously, Renyir needs to think twice about that sort of thing. I mean, that certain things said in certain places are just suicidal. You don't openly say praise Ronald, the god of thieves and tricksters, especially in merchant districts. I mean, who do you think are the ones that bring vampires down? That's the bloody merchants with their pitchforks and the farm workers. So yeah, you definitely made an impression. Well done.
Yep.
But moving on to Arnung, mate, I warned you. And by the way, that was still coming, regardless, based on certain, consequences and reactions.
Oh yeah,
that's not just being held tonight because Framling wasn't here. It still would have been directed heavily. It would have still happened exactly the same way, whether Framling's here or not. The next meeting with Oberlander was not going to be fun. But I don't know. Do you get that he's? I know that obviously Ivan is saying from Leaf's point of view that Oberlander is sort of, he's in a controlled situation. He's still a power, but he's not free as you are. But he's putting out one hand in friendship, but also saying rein your neck in, you're causing me problems. Do you think it's as obvious as that?
To be honest, I don't think from Arnung's point of view, I think he's very, very conflicted, and I think we've had this chat, obviously out of session, often. Kane, that we just think, oh yeah, Arnung's very conflicted. On one hand, he's got Framling, and I think he mentioned that in game that, he was just there minding his own business. He was, he was a big fish in a very big pond, which is Northern, and he was enjoying that life until, he was reminded that he's just a mortal man on a lifelong quest, to honor his word that was to the immortal Framling. 30 years he vanished and came back, and he was like, "Hey, I'm back, and remember your promise?" I was like, "Oh yes." I kind of got sidetracked here, building an empire. Thanks for that. So yeah, I mean, that moment he had with Leaf was an indication of what this frustration. Arnung has his frustration because he's torn between, he keeps saying he's the king of the north. He's way out of his depth, and right now he doesn't like the city life. He clearly
doesn't like
hates
being
it.
a subordinate.
And he's not going to know exactly. He's used to being the big fish up north, and now he's here, and he gets how the power play works. And it's not about, he's not trying to step on toes. It's obviously what's happening here is that he's so out of his depth, and he's accidentally stepping on. He's pissing off Oberlander.
The thing is,
not meaning to, because he's like, I've got a job to do because I've got the stupid immortal who keeps reminding me I've got a job to do, and I'm panicking.
You've got a boss. Oh, you've got a boss.
You're worried about Oberlander. I answer to fricking this immortal. You think you've got it bad? You don't have him.
Yeah. No, it is a good point.
Yeah. So I mean, that's why when he was like, "Oh, what did he call him in the meeting?"
Who did call what? What did you call?
No, what did Oberlander call Framling in the meeting?
Tribesman.
Tribesman. I was like, tribesman. You don't know anything.
By the term. All right.
So that's why I was like, tribesman. He totally caught me off guard. But I was playing on it. What's he on about? Tribesman? Do you know who he is? Prick.
I thought you were going to kick off.
Yeah, I was a bit.
So I was quite pleased that you actually kind of managed to kind of reel yourself back from your original kind of like rage, kind of, because I thought this might trigger him, but I think the kind of like the seriousness of the situation, it was kind of like, it is that this what I want, it doesn't mean anything currently.
Well, Arnung's not. I mean, he's simple, he's direct, but he's not stupid. I mean, he wasn't going to go in and go, right, I'm just going to jump across the table and have it out with Oberlander.
You were thinking about it because then you give it like an exposition of how you would want it to go.
It was
if
more
20 years younger, they would have all been dead.
Yeah, well, it was more the fact that when he was like, referring to like Framling, and I think right now, that was more the brotherhood in him going, "You're way out your depth, Oberlander. You might think you're the king here, but you don't know what the bigger picture is, and you are just a small fry because you're thinking, oh, underworld, and I'm thinking, no, Framling, demigod." So and you're saying, who's this tribesman? I'm like, no, he's a demigod, and it was more the taken back by going, don't be so cheeky, you little shit. This is an immortal Framling. You don't talk to like him. He's not tribesman at all.
You get defensive.
Yeah, I was getting
Framling and insult at Framling.
How dare you?
Unintentional as well. Yeah.
Yeah. But obviously,
I'm fairly ambivalent about all this from my character perspective. He's just like whatever.
Well, that's good because it's playing out where you're being the calming presence for Arnung because he needs that, because he's very at this stage very conflicted, and anything can give right now. He's at a really crossroads because he could either go all out, go fuck this shit, kill everything, or
I can see you wanted to go combat monster on with, like thinking back on all the previous characters that you've played. You know what I mean? It's usually kind of like a fairly straightforward thing where you kind of go, enough of this nonsense, and then you kill everybody. So kind of like I'm a little bit kind of like, it might be a bit of a shady situation unleashing them on this fucking place. You know what I mean?
Because he makes you want mad. So I'm trying to play Arnung as, I've given Arnung a lot of thought based on his history and how he got to where he is. So there's always a reason to why you react a certain way, and it's good to have this little chat out of game to go, oh, why did Arnung react the way he did, and he's just like going, oh, he just seems stupid. No, because I had this internal conflict going on in my mind. Going, he just dissed a demigod, Framling, who I'm loyal to.
So that reaction,
So I was like, no, I'm not going to answer you. You're sitting here giving me shit. Why are you giving me shit, Oberlander? You've asked me to come here, and you're giving me shit. I'm like, I have to deal with this. I can't deal with this. And now you're saying I've got to go to this stupid meeting, and no, because it's like, oh yeah, being summoned, and I don't want to go to this meeting. I've got shit to do. Don't you know? I can't tell you. Tell us the truth. I think your mind will implode if I told you the truth. Oh, by the way, wouldn't you know?
I mean, if I was playing Arnung and me usual power gaming self, I would have already sent word north and summoned an army of some description.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To kind of like park outside of the town. Just as kind of like a fucking flex. You know what I mean? Well, they're just me entourage. Don't worry about them, boys. And I know how Mark would react and kind of like, be like, no, you're not doing that, fucking but. And that's how.
Whoa, slow down there. First of all, Kane never does that to anybody. Whatever you say, I will allow it. I might find ways to dilute said. But if you want to go off and summon an army, you go off and summon an army. This is story driven by the characters, not me. The story's written around you. I've got the big bad guy here, and it's ultimately this is your goal, which
but
you
it's
were
a
aware
total
of.
fucking power move, isn't it? It's
well, it's been discussed. It has been discussed between, as a character possibility, a character thing is, does Arnung suddenly go, sod this, I'm taking the city over? How much easier would it be? Because he's got the forces.
Yeah,
no way Oberlander wants a war with Arnung.
Yeah,
this
is why I'm surprised Oberlander's being so cavalier with his treatment to Arnung, because all he has to do is send for a fucking army.
Well, you know, or Leaf knows of a little bit about Oberlander, and Oberlander has a very big ace up his sleeve.
Mm.
Bear that in mind. And this is the thing is, characters have knowledge, and you don't just spurt it out unless it's relevant. For example, you two guys are sitting here, right? Like, I don't know, the Emperor and Darth Vader giving it the big balls, right? Totally oblivious to R2-D2, evil R2-D2 in the top right corner, who's running around all game for the last 2 sessions, getting up to some serious... Where's he gone now? Now and then you get somebody smacked in the face with a rock. That's what you see. What else? This guy is not just running around sitting in the background bored. He's very active. So you guys are full of this dark shit, and he's in the background causing all kinds of mayhem. And then steps to the front and goes...
Well, some of the things he does say and some of the things he does do has caused Leaf to pause and suspect that he's not all he says he is.
Yeah, little
Renyir. And may not be in our camp.
Oh, I did not know that. Leaf suspects double tundra?
Double dealing.
Double dealing from Renyir. Well, then again, he is mostly all the time drunk on brandy. He could be spending most of his time trying to climb up onto the rooftops and falling off drunk into piles of veg, and then waking up an hour later going, huh? Because he's a very small 15-year-old who's been fed brandy for the last 3 days solid.
Yeah, but,
I'd be interested to see.
Leaf doesn't trust Renyir.
Holt, do you think Renyir's... do you think he's a double dealer? Do you think that the character is somehow not on the up and up? Is he talking?
He's talking.
I thought he was just sort of la 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 la.
He just went, oh shit, I've been found out in his head.
Yeah. I coughed before and I had that. I trust Arnung, so he does what Arnung says, but he doesn't follow Tal, which is why everyone's going. But Tal's like, not Tal.
Well, we know you're not a Tal worshipper. You're a kind of like a useful character to have around, but we know that you're not Brotherhood. But that's by the by. I mean,
well, that's the thing. Is
a means to an end is a means to an end.
Renyir keeps on saying, "What the hell's the Brotherhood?" Because he doesn't know. Holt, what do you think the Brotherhood is?
Here you go, son. Have some brandy.
Holt, what do you think Renyir think? What is the Brotherhood? What do you think Renyir thinks?
Renyir thinks it's something he should not know. It's like he's immortal. Brandy. Oh God! You want me to do things and you keep me in the blind.
Because you're drunk.
the way I see it is kind of like how the Renyir character is kind of he's pushed into a corner here.
Mm.
You know what I mean? He's in the purveyor of Arnung, who's psychotic, it would seem, and Framling, who is so psychotic he's beyond the concept of psychosis. You know what I mean? He literally does not give a shit whether anyone lives or dies.
Yeah.
He's there to do his thing and then fuck yous. You know, that's it. See you later, lads. Sorry about the missing body parts. And off he goes. You know, we probably shouldn't say sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's expected.
This
Bye.
is one of the other frustrations. He just goes off.
Well, that's it.
I don't know. Where's Framling? I don't know. Last time he did that, he just disappeared for 30 years. He'd be one of those. Like, next session will be like, I'll be dead because he's left it that long.
Well, literally just like leaves he uses to wipe his arse. Yeah, that's how important we are in the grand scheme of things. That's how I see Leafs anyway. He's there. He's going to facilitate. He's going to do his best to kind of like perform his duties as they are and not get everybody or himself killed. But he understands the gravity of the situation that Framlin's turned up and he's not going to kind of rock the boat too much. His reaction to Arnung and he's kind of literally kind of like, fuck me, I hate this dude. Of attitude, although he's kind of deferential to him, you can see kind of like he's frustrated all of the time. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to be here, but he's fucking just grinning and bearing. It's a shit-eating grin, the best he can manage, you know. But I think he's an interesting character, and I think kind of like the whole Framlin thing is kind of like he's the star of the show as it is, even though he's missed a couple. All we can do is facilitate the mission. So it's more cynic soldier mode, you know what I mean? Yes, we're led by arseholes. Get over it. Do your thing.
But I think we're pretty much sure that Arnung is feeling somewhat split between survival and the disillusionment of someone that is, this is just a stepping stone. And your life is just a moment in a millennia plus.
Want to sing songs about her.
Yeah. And I think Arnung's also feeling somewhat frustrated by... do you think, Talbot, that Arnung's feeling very much out alone, even though he's got, obviously, Leaf's there and Leaf's got his back, and Renyir's done his bit, especially in the last sort of 12 to 24 hours, Renyir was the first guy with daggers drawn facing off against, let's be honest, guys, the first full-blown manifestation of some dark creature from the other realm. Renyir was there, knives drawn. It wasn't until you shouted, it wasn't until Framling said leave, and then you shouted leave, that Renyir was gone. I mean, that's a level of bravery in a 15-year-old, or potential stupidity.
Bravery, right.
Did you just think that Arnung, that was the second manifest. You didn't see, for example, 30 years ago, as Framling alluded to, you fought something in the guise of a man, but this thing was full-blown manifestation. That must have rocked your faith, is Arnung feeling fear? Is he operating on the pretense of like, I'm out on Olympia, this I'm going to die, what the hell, things aren't getting better, there's no conclusion. Oh, you're not heading north, you're not going to get to chill out with wife and kids again, this is going to be a one-way trip.
Well, that's why he's got that conflicted behavior though, isn't it? Because he got out the life. And he made an empire, made himself nice and comfy and lazy, and then they went, right, okay, let's go adventure. He was like, you fucking joking?
I'm in my 60s, man!
Well, exactly that. I mean,
this is the
Arnung's got his own
Egyptian
story.
cotton.
Yeah. Arnung's got his own story, how he got to where he is. There's this long, drawn-out story, rich with, history, violence, and death, destruction, how he got to the position of power that he has got to, and for it all just come crumbling down just because one prick just decides to turn up on a boat unannounced, and his world just come crashing down. I mean, it's only been a week? Has it been 2 weeks?
6 days.
6 days. So it's only been 6 days since Framling.
Sorry, you've been in City 7 days in total. He showed up 7 days ago.
So let's not forget, this is still very fresh and very raw, because 8 days ago, I was just sitting on my veranda with my missus,
Enjoying retirement.
Enjoying retirement, and then you're like, oh, what's that? Oh, there's a crowd gathering up in the distance there. Oh, there's a ship. Wonder what that is. Oh shit. And that's pretty much it. And his life was just turned upside down. And then we had a pub lunch and just going, oh yeah, I'm Framling, I'm back. You're looking old. Yes, it's been 30 fucking years, Framling.
37.
37 years. And now you go, oh yeah,
perspective.
go on, pack your bags. We've got a mission.
So, do you know how Arnung is in a situation kind of like when he first met Framling? Right? Obviously, it wasn't kind of like a devastating kind of like life experience. It was the greatest moment of his life, probably, right?
When he first met him. 2 weeks later.
Exactly.
2 weeks later, it had changed.
Leaf is in that situation where kind of like everything he's been told has come to absolute true fruition, and the guy suddenly turns up in his life and he's like, yeah, brilliant, I actually have a purpose.
Yeah.
Because he's been bored as fuck, stationed in this town, doing his thing, living his life, and just basically kind of like weak sauce reporting, and then suddenly kind of like this guy turns up and is like, right, okay, we're going adventuring and doing shit, and he's like, brilliant.
Big picture stuff, not this mundane. He has some big boy pants
About
stuff.
fucking type something happened in my life. I've been doing, because he's just been on autopilot doing his thing in the town as far as he's concerned. So this is good,
Oh yeah, definitely.
This was actually discussed
one of the
as well, wasn't it? It was discussed. We were saying that you've got old boy Arnung looking back, and you're half his age at 30, and he remembered what he was doing at 30 and going, oh, because you're like, yes, good times, work for God, rah! Fire and brimstone, good man story. And you've got a guy 30 years later with his face cut in half, walks with a limp, is broken, because of his past memories, looking back going, yeah, I remember when I was 30 and Framling came into my life. Young kids.
And then you got Renyir again, who's another half of the age.
Yeah.
Literally just wild boy, all over the fucking place. So it is quite a good dynamic, to be honest, because normally we play characters of a similar age.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I quite like the way it can like on just like
bad guys.
Yeah, but you usually play an older character, rather than kind of like this young guy, and it's quite funny because the things that you naturally come out with work for the kid. You know what I mean? Because you're like, fuck it, YOLO.
He's chaotic.
Young people pull that shit, you know?
He's just so chaotic, and then now and then he throws a rock off someone's head.
Yeah.
Rock goes from a dagger somewhere.
He must be bloody good with a rock, though.
He is very good. Well, he wasn't the first time he tried it, as he smacked a priest of Moor in the face.
But he was trying.
I wonder if that's why they're trying to kill us.
That's the connection.
All this time, that's the connection. It's like, why? Is it because we asked questions? No, because you threw a rock off a face.
Oh,
right, that wasn't us. That was him. Oh, okay. Problem solved.
No, it was a righteous throwing rock. May hit its target.
Yeah.
There you go.
In fact, he threw it at the kid. You threw it at one of the kids' leaflet dispatch to come and get you, and he ducked and smacked the priest.
Stole my food.
Ran off for your chips.
Fuck.
Well, guys, I think that as it goes, that was a corking episode. I thought we saw a lot of to and fro. Everybody was involved. Some furiously typing, others sniggering at their companions getting their arsehole ripped off them. And I hope you enjoyed the greengrocer and his wife.
I enjoyed quite all the characters were kind of like we ran into. They were quite good.
I'm glad, but it was.
I am setting up a guest house next to
Absolutely.
in the temple though.
Absolutely.
Next to the barracks though. Fuck that. If there's a gap in the market.
Not getting in with those boots.
I do think we should go back and kill the dwarf though, Theodore.
So you've mistaken. Theodore himself isn't the dwarf. That's Mungrim Dalmarin.
Oh, right, okay.
Right. Theodore is
Theodore's a dwarf as well, isn't he?
No.
He's just a sick individual.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, it's in the same paragraph as when it talks about.
Yeah, we'll fuck him up.
So yeah, we don't like Theodore, do we not?
Well, we don't like Theodore and we don't like his boys, so we're gonna have to fuck them up at some point, just for the fun of it.
Just for shits and giggles.
Do it for the vine.
I'm wondering if Framling's like, right, so what do you got to tell me? Well, Theodore worships the void gods and is behind it all. Right. Ha ha! Actually, we lied. But that has killed 47 people! There is an entire district on fire.
It's so worth it.
A district ripe for the taking, though.
Yeah. Whoop, whoop. Next door.
Power play.
Absolutely, I mean, that's where it's got to start. Like I say, it has been discussed with...
that part 2.
Yeah, does Talbot want to expand? He can do so. He just hasn't. I don't think you want to open that door in case it leads to overwhelming bloodshed and hides or distracts from stuff going on. But no, I'm open to anything and everything you want to do, and the consequences of your actions.
The way I see it is Framling is dragged way into this kind of situation, blah, 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 but it doesn't stop her from making money and contacts.
Absolutely
Arnung
not a problem. He supports that, in fact. You haven't had a chance to talk about it, but he supports self-enterprise.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of the ethos of the whole thing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So I am keen to kind of like expand my kind of like sphere of influence as well within the town.
Good stuff.
And that's why I'm making contact with them and actually looking to set up a new business in an area I don't control.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. It is character-driven. Framling is here and he will drive you in a direction, but you are living, breathing people. And this story arc, this potential time frame is open to these characters to survive and live and expand. This is an open door. The story will go where you need it to go. At some point, this story arc will finish as far as the Framling story is concerned, and he will move on. As long as you are alive, those characters have actually lived through this experience, then this time frame is still there to be explored as a campaign setting. So keep that in mind. I am not. There is no doors closed. This is a sandbox in the sense of it's within the city, and I can't have one of you go, right, I'm off to Nuln now. But there's a story arc. There's a doorway, a road open for Arnung to explore. Will Arnung get to explore this trip to Nuln during the Framling arc? No chance. Framling's not going to let him just sod off for 2 months to the south to have a chat about the Underlords. But that's the key. And what was particularly powerful about that opening door was to prove not every bit of information is to do with the campaign that you're on.
Yeah.
That's the Underworld campaign, and that hasn't got Framling involved in it. That is Arnung, Renyir, and Leaf taking over the city and expanding, and it could be Underworld War. That's all there for you. That's to be realised.
Well, I mean, let them go to war. It's not our concern.
Well, it will be his concern because it's Arnung's men in the north.
Yeah.
It's his war. It's his turf war. Well, anyway, lads.
But the thing is, we can do that via diplomatic, and it means now the door's being opened. He's going to make shitloads of money, and I'm standing between two kings. Brilliant.
Whoop whoop. Well, guys, next Thursday we shall have. Oh, pardon me. We shall have Nevin back with Framling. I don't think we've got a lot. It's not like the week before where there was a hell of a lot of information to get out there. Tonight was by far the fastest session we've had, and I'm hoping that shows its quality. I'm hoping that come Thursday you'll be able to go, we've poisoned the wagon, we haven't stepped on toes, we had a talk with the Oberlander, nothing. Well, in fact, the Oberlander part of it has technically, what's it involved? Where's Framling's involvement? It wasn't.
It just pinned with information, got very little, and then offered a massive kind of trade deal type of situation, It's something that kind of he can't refuse, but why would he want to kind of thing?
Yeah,
he's going to make fucking so much money out of it and get so much influence. It's going to be kind of like going from kind of like Arnung to Arnung plus.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? If he thought he was the king in the north, wait until he's fucking consolidated his power with these other bastards, basically.
Damn right. So really, we should find that next week should be the quick intro reminder. Look, we've poisoned the food. There should be a sleep by, no, not sleep. There should be writhing in pools of piss and shit within the next couple of hours. You want to hit the place by midnight? Yeah, they're going to be very weakened and dehydrated by then. Let's go.
They got to be as interested as we hope.
Yeah, absolutely.
That guy's going to go right down,
So hopefully we'll see, finally, for those people watching on YouTubes and Twitches, that next week we should see the raid of the Barracks.
Mhm.
I mean, it's. We haven't had an actual. Well, I haven't had an actual action game yet.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And I'd like to kind of like have a bit of combat if possible, but obviously kind of like it's
Well,
we're trying to be sneaky ninjas, you know. And
If
You haven't
possible,
chased-
you
I
know,
want to stab
you know, I
things.
don't ninja very well. I'm much more of a kind of like let's blow everything up and see who survives.
Including your friends
Pretty much, yeah.
when the temples
On your own
collapse
there,
on you.
mate.
Right, guys, thanks very
Either
much.
that or run away.
I hope you enjoyed tonight. I hope it was
We
worth
did.
staying up for.
Absolutely.
And for those watching, that was what was that? That was episode 31. Well, overall, Cortex 31, Book 2, Empire in Flames, episode 13. A work in progress title. It'll be renamed when I upload it. And I think that was in our defence, we were unsupervised. I think that was unfair because I think you did yourselves proud.
That was unsupervised.
We do well.
Unsupervised,
Yeah, Renyir's always unsupervised, even when he's in the room with you.
fucking untrustworthy, man. These little be.
I love that. I love that. Leave sitting there going something up with that guy.
Yep.
Well,
Right.
guys,
I mean, the fact that he's better at what he does than kind of like May operatives now. They're just little young kids and stuff like that. But you'd think kind of like that because they're the ones who are sitting around doing nothing. They've got no agenda apart from watching,
Mhm.
and he's still getting past them. So that's kind of like impressed him, but also concerned him.
yeah, okay, yeah. So from Leaf's point of view, this kid is vastly overskilled for his age and reported
He's
capability.
underestimated him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good call.
And
Very
he's
good call.
realised he's underestimated him
Yeah, good spot,
quite quickly
definitely.
on.
Yeah. Right, guys, I will see you next Thursday. We shall take up the fight. Framling with Nevin shall be with us, and we shall see how things go from there. Finally, the raid on the barracks.
Finally.
Thanks everybody for watching. Check us out. All the links are available at the end of this. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch. Go to YouTube now since it's the end of the live show and look at some of our older stuff. Skim through it. Send us follows, likes, and love buttons. And if anybody's got a spare bit of cash, by all means sub. Would like that. But apart from that, we'll see you next Thursday. So good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.
All right.
Good night.